Good morning, Raptor Freak Alexiats. Wednesday morning after an excellent win over the Miami last night here at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The Raptors are really rolling now, showing a veteran poise against teams with veteran poise and winning in a close game at the end of the game. Just closing things out right, getting good execution on the defensive end, stop Miami from doing anything themselves. And then at our end, we were finding a way to get to the basket and execute daggers to keep the lead ahead. And last night, the cushion didn't have to be that big. It's very interesting that we beat Miami in these last two games by 4 points. That's not a very huge margin, but it is a two-possession margin that's really important to keep at the end of the game when you're playing against a team like Miami. And boy, I just love how they did it, because honestly, it really shows something for the future about this Raptors team, that they're ready to play big-time teams in high-pressure situations and find success. And they did last night. It was fantastic. G, good morning, man. Good to see you as always. This is why we have preached patience. The chemistry is forming. Yes. There's a lot of different things that are happening that are coming together right now. Obviously, our guys all being healthy for a bit of time together has really allowed them to start synergizing and really starting to create these bonds and these kind of ways that they can play together in really smart ways. Now, there's still so much to clean up. Like, this is the thing. We were not an efficient team last night. There was a lot of ugliness in the game as far as bad turnovers. Missed free throws were really bad last night. Like, they really missed a lot of free throws very early in the game. And I was pulling my hair out, even though I don't have any hair. I really don't. And I was pulling my hair out. I found it because that's how mad I was at how they were shooting their free throws last night. And at one point, I told myself, well, the Raptors deserve to lose because they missed so many free throws. And if they had lost last night, I would have said that. I would have said, well, they deserve to lose because they missed like 9 free throws. But this is the thing. This team is insane. This team can basically do a couple things and still overcome and win games. It's just nuts. It's a testament to how crazy talented and amazing and how much of an advantage they have over other teams, that they can come out and get down by double digits and have to play from behind. They can come out and miss a huge percentage of their free throws, like almost 50% of their free throws last night, that they can come out and waste possessions by throwing the ball away in stupid ways. Like Justin, when he came out last night, he caused 2 turnovers. That's basically all Justin did when he came in the game. He wasn't in the spot where Fred needed him to be, so Fred threw it out of bounds. And then on another play, he lost the ball and got it stolen from him by Jimmy Butler. So it's like these turnovers could be cleaned up. This better passing could be cleaned up. These free throws could be cleaned up. But still, we still end up with a 4-point win margin over Miami. That says a lot about our team, that it's insane, that we have a huge margin of error that we can still make up and come back and get the W. It's insane, y'all. It's insane. Like, most teams need to be absolutely perfect to compete with a team like Miami Heat. But we don't have to be completely perfect, and we can make it up in crazy ways and in the end still win. So I don't know what to say to that. I mean, that just means that we're scarier, even scarier than we are right now, because there's so much we could tighten up, so much we could be more professional about. And when we do, we're going to get even better. Like, it's going to make us raise up. Like, right now, we may just be a playoff team and not a championship, contending team. But if we clean all this stuff, that means that we're a championship contending team. Seriously, because it's crazy. Callie, good morning. Gary is such a great player. Oh my gosh, Callie, isn't he? He's kind of the guy who's helping you with your stress meter right now. I'm sure Gary is just if you have a sore or something hurting and you need something to soothe it, Gary is the balm. He is there to help you and make you feel better. For sure. Gally said, I honestly didn't get stressed because it didn't look like they were going to win. I know. It's so weird. In that kind of game, when it's us against a team like Miami Heat, who are one of the top Eastern teams, we just, you would expect the casual NBA fan would watch that game and they would say, well, Miami's going to win because it's close. And they're the vets and they have more experience and all this kind of stuff. But the Raptor fans are all watching it like, yeah, I feel good about us winning because the game's close. Yeah, we're only down by 9 at half. Yeah, we can come back from that at halftime. We've done this all year. So it's weird because we have a certain level of confidence in our team, even when other people are watching the game last night other fans of other teams, they're probably saying, oh, the Heat are going to win. The Heat are going to win. And then when they see what happens at the end, they're like, whoa, wait, what happened there? And we're like, we knew this was going to happen because we had a feeling about it. You could tell we were doing the same stuff. This is the same thing from when we first played them in the second quarter. We had this shutdown where we can stop them and not let them do anything that they want to do on offense. And we've effectively replicated it in 2 games since. We did it again last night, and we did it on Saturday. This absolutely suffocating defense where none of these guys that shoot threes on their team can absolutely get going. Like, seriously, none of these guys are usually huge threats that just kill teams. Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, they absolutely kill teams. And last night, what were they collectively? I want to look at their collective 3-point shooting. 1 for 5 plus 3 for 7 plus 2 for 5. That's 6 of 17. They're 6 of 17 from the field for 3-pointer, and that's great. That's just great shadowing them. I mean, this Duncan Robinson guy is basically useless against the Raptors. He can't do jack shit against positionless badasses on the Toronto Raptors. Is nothing. Max Strus, he figures out a way to get shook free every once in a while, and he hit 3 threes in the first half, but he didn't do jack shit in the second half, did he? No, he didn't. We did not let him do nothing in the second half, which was fantastic. And, Tyler Hero, 18 points, we can live with that because he's doing a little bit around the basket also, but he's not bombing threes. That's the thing. He only got 2 threes. He could have easily got like 5 threes, and we didn't allow that to happen. We forced him off the 3-point line, made him have to drive. But it was just a great collective effort. And the other thing is we had to withstand a huge effort from Bam Adebayo last night. He came out on fire. He was killing us. He was hitting everything. He was very dominant, very, very dominant in the game last night. And he was bugging me. He's bugging me. I was worried about him. 32 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 13 of 17 from the field. Like, that's a great performance. That's the best he's done against us so far this year. We've absolutely killed him. And then he does have a good game, and we still beat him. And part of that was because Jimmy didn't have as good a game this time. Jimmy was kind of held in check a little bit. 3 for 10 from the field is fantastic. He missed all his 3-pointers. He got 12 assists, 16 points, made all his free throws, though, 10 for 10. And that was a really stark contrast between him going to the line and getting his free throws, him purposely getting fouls. He wanted to go get fouls on our guys and getting the line and making those shots count. Meanwhile, our guys are, I don't know what is going on with this. Like, Gary, what is wrong with you, man? You're hitting all these shots all over, 3-point, drive in, mid-range, and then you get to the free throw line and you break the first free throw every time you get up there. Like, I don't understand that, Gary. Get your concentration at the 3-point line and realize that you're getting your 30-point games, but you could be getting even more points. Like, you could be almost getting to 40 if you'd hit your free throws, man. But I love that he continued the streak. He tied DeMar's streak of 5 games with 30-point streak, and he's going to play DeMar tomorrow and go for the chance to beat his record against the man himself. Yeah, Chicago's here in Toronto tomorrow. And if Gary gets another 30-point game tomorrow night, he beats DeMar's record with DeMar on the court. And I love that drama. And I'm here for it because I really think he can do it. The way that we're playing our offense right now is so centered around Gary, and it's working. So that I really fully expect Gary to break this record tomorrow night with DeMar on the court, and I love it. I love it. I love DeMar, and I want DeMar to have success, but, against us, I want him to lose tomorrow night, and I want Gary to get this record because I want other guys, current Raptors, to start getting Raptor records also. Like Fred and Pascal and OG. These guys, I want them to be in the record books, just like DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry on the Raptor record books. We need new blood on there. And Gary Trent taking this record from DeMar DeRozan tomorrow night possibly is going to be awesome. And it's going to be high drama, y'all. This will be a great game to watch, the Chicago at Toronto game tomorrow night. All right, let's see. Callie's saying also, Pascal doesn't have any arc on his shots, on his free throws. Yeah, I don't understand these guys at the free throw line. This is such an easy area to clean up, and they've been so good in the past. Like, Pascal has been such a solid free throw shooter at different times. Fred, I can't believe that he misses free throws these days because we've missed so many as a group. The fact that Fred missed 2 free throws last night is very uncharacteristic to me. He made 9 of 11, but still, that shows something. These guys clean this up a bit. What was the percentage overall? It was 69%, 20 of 29. That's 9 missed free throws right there. And that'll make them have a higher scoring average individually and also help our overall team score at the end of the game. So, oh man, it's so crazy that we win and we do so well considering how inefficient we're playing right now in some ways. So, yeah, Pascal's driving me crazy at the line too. It's like him and Gary right now are really driving me crazy. I can understand Precious missing some free throws here and there just because, it seems like his concentration gets pretty bad every once in a while. He did miss both his free throws last night. But Gary, come on, man. You're a sharpshooter. And Pascal, man, you got to do better too. All right, let's see. Monique, good morning. Let's go, Monique. I watched that Murdoch Mysteries scene, the little part with Nick Nurse in it yesterday. And I'm going to say it was funny and it was cool to see, but I'm not going to say that Nick Nurse is a great actor. Because honestly, he's okay. He does an okay job, but it's pretty cheesy, the line that he says in it. I love that they work the Raptors into the scene. And yeah, you guys just have to go watch it. It's good. It's good. He's not James Naismith. I was hoping he'd be Dr. James Naismith, but he's not. He's just some dude. But it is funny, y'all. Y'all need to watch this Nick Nurse appearance on Murdoch Mysteries. You probably find just the scene on CBC Gem, like whatever, and stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, let's see what Monique's saying. Let's go, Raptors. Massive win. Yeah, it really was a good, huge win. I mean, some people will say that game on Saturday was kind of a fluke because it's like so close and one team had to win. But when you beat the same team 3 days later, and it's the same kind of thing, then people have to really start to notice. They're like, whoa, yeah, okay, the Raptors beat them again. And I know that some of the fans were saying on the stream I was watching that there's salt been thrown and like this is something serious. And they were talking a lot about how the Raptors are kind of badasses, even though they're not really fans. These are like general NBA fans. Paul B saying, what a game. Gary is incredible. This team is incredible. Now let's get them some help off the bench. Yeah, I agree with this. I think you're right, Paul. I watched your clip, Monique, that you posted, the one about Chris Boucher and the cons and pros to trading him. I didn't like what they had to say on that. I think that they're discounting a certain important part of what Chris is and what's going on with him here. And the fact that we can't be so cavalier about like, let's just ship him out and get something else for him. I don't like that. Like, really is a family. Like the trade talk, part of the reason why I don't like doing so much trade talk like other Raptors content makers do is that I really look at our team as a family. And I don't like talking about sending them any of them away because I have an appreciation and affection for them that I don't want them to go. And especially for Canadian players. Like I really do believe in this rule that Canadian players should be a premium on our team and that we should take care of them and let them stay here. And Chris is such a really weird guy. Like he's gone through so many different things emotionally and different things with his growth and development as an NBA player that I feel like he may not have gotten to ever with other teams, that other teams may have given up on him that where we didn't. And that goes a long way with Chris. And I think that when he has his unrestricted free agency this summer, he's going to be very kind to the Raptors and wanting to stay in Toronto. He's not a big money hawk. He's not somebody who's trying to go out there and make a huge amount of money just for the sake of making money. Like he's not going to go and try and take the most money from the other teams. He's going to take a money that fits within our budget so that he can stay here. And the main reasons why are he's a weird dude and he may not fit in with another organization. He goes to another organization and there's no guarantees on anything. He could come there and he could hate it. He could get mistreated. He could get put on the bench. He could be misunderstood. And I think he realizes that. And that part of the reason why he's so comfortable and happy right now isn't that he's trying to get traded or get moved. It's because he is happy. And he wants to be on the Raptors. He's bought in. He's a part of this family, this crew, this positionless scheme. And he sees the value and the fun in it. And he wants to be a part of it. So I'm sick of this. I don't want to talk about trading Chris Boucher. I don't want to talk about Chris Boucher leaving. Now, when that day comes, if it happens, then we'll talk about it. But No, let's not trade Chris. Chris, to me, has way more value on our team than what we would get in trade value from him. And I'm sick of this. This trade talk's stupid. The only thing I want to hear has happened is trade Goran Dragic. And I don't want any of our other guys traded unless there's somebody on the bench who's not really doing anything for us right now. None of all the core guys that are playing right now and getting minutes, they do not need to be moved in any kind of way because they are the part of the future. So I totally disagree with that guy's video. Like, and then he started talking about the cons, and I'm like, well, the con is that he's Canadian and he loves being in Toronto and he's family. And we don't ship family out just frivolously because we think we're going to make our team better by getting somebody like Miles Turner or something like that. No, we don't. We keep the guys we've been in there with, we have accrued attention time with, and he's one of our 4 champions, so we can't let him go. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I literally just watched it just now, right before I went on the air, and I was watching. I'm like, no, I can't listen to this Yahoo Sports guy because honestly, his heart isn't with the team. He's doing it as a journalist and just as an outside observer. He's not really somebody who understands this team or Chris Boucher and what Chris Boucher, who he is. I know Chris Boucher better. He's not about the money. He's not going to go and try and get a big paycheck this summer, y'all. Seriously. Because he understands there's bigger things in this world than just money. And he's smarter and wiser than that. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going. MK, long time no see. Good to see you, MK. How's everyone doing? Long time no chill. Great game last night. Yeah, MK, it was great. I'm so glad to see you back. Yeah, what a fantastic time we're in with the Raptors. We get these games almost every night right now, and they're just so entertaining and fun to watch. Like, honestly, like it's really cool how this season has been unfolding, and it's just really fun. And what a great joy to see Scotty Barnes get on the Rising Stars, but not only Scotty Barnes, Precious Achiuwa is going to be in the Rising Stars game also. And I don't know if you guys know what the format is for this. They're going to have a 4-team tournament with different games, and they're playing to point totals, not by a clock. They're going to play to a certain amount of points, and then they move on to the final against the other team from the other semifinal. So they're going to be broken up, the rookies and the sophomores, excuse me, with the G League Ignite people, and they're all going to be put on different teams. Like Scotty may not be on the same team as Precious. They may be on separate teams and playing against each other, but it'd be cool if they were on the same team together also. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm excited about this format, and I'm really excited to have 2 representatives in this because this is the first time the Raptors have had 2 representatives in the Rising Stars game since Andrea Bargnani and Jamario Moon, y'all. That's how long ago since we've had 2 Rising Stars. So I really love it. I really love it. Let's see what else is going on with y'all. Monique is saying fans in the stands. Beautiful to see. Yes. And I knew that they were going to do that they were going to let a couple hundred in. And they did it by lottery with the season ticket holders. So the people that were there were season ticket holders that were randomly selected and allowed to come in and sit in that game. What a special game to come and sit at with such an intimate setting with just a few fans over on this side. And, they were vocal enough. I loved hearing their voices on the broadcast, even if there weren't many. There were enough of them out there going defense and yelling for Gary and doing all that kind of stuff last night that it was fantastic. Just to have that fan voice in that sterile environment was welcome addition, even if it was just a few. And what a great iconic picture. We had the picture of Masai Ujiri sitting over in his spot all by himself in that section. And then now we have the one with him and Drake sitting there next to each other. And I was so happy to see Drake at the game last night. I know some people are saying, oh, which side are you cheering for? Since he was at the Miami game a couple weeks ago and stuff like that. Listen, I want to get something real straight and clear right now. People have been joking that maybe Goran Dragic is down in Miami as a special advanced scout to find out what Miami's doing for the Raptors. No, he's not doing that. He's an asshole. He's not going to do that for us. But Drake, he is somebody that would do something like that. Like go down to Miami and check out the Miami Heat team for the Raptors ahead of time and come back and report to Masai Ujiri. Some people have a question his honorability and like his who he's for. Is he for Toronto or is he for Golden State or is he for Miami? Well, he's for Toronto. Because all the evidence is there. whether it's when we were playing the Chicago Bulls at one game and they're trying to inbounds the ball and Drake's sitting at at his normal seat and he's clapping behind the Bulls player and he messes them up and they turn the ball over. He did that once in a game. Or whether it's the game one of the finals against the Golden State Warriors and Drake shows up and he's wearing a Del Curry jersey to troll Steph in the middle of the game. And during these games when he's sitting at that seat, he is talking trash the whole game. Like in the game last night, he was talking trash to Jimmy Butler through most of the game, y'all. And that is not something that is little or bad for us. I love that. We have one of the biggest music stars in the world who sells billions of music all the time, sitting at courtside, jeering the other team and doing stuff like that. He's on our side, y'all. Don't get it twisted. He could be at the Miami game because it's hot down there, and he's good friends with Kyle. Obviously, they are tight. Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Drake, very close friends, all of them. So he has a special connection with players that are on other teams now. But his heart, and he wants the Raptors to get the Larry O.B. Don't get it twisted. That is the same goal. He's on the same page as me, the Raptor Freak, Masai Ujiri, Nick Nurse, the players, all y'all. He wants that championship, that second Larry O.B. just like we do. So don't ever question Drake's allegiance. Like, he is with us, trust me, because he's doing a lot of different things in the game. I saw it last night. Like, you saw those little spots where Jimmy was smiling and at the free throw line. That's because Drake's talking shit to him. That's what was happening there. Is Drake is talking shit from his seat and Jimmy's smiling at the line because it's funny. Because honestly, it's funny. Jimmy has to laugh about that because he's got Drake giving him crap. So it's great. I love the whole thing about it. I just love seeing him there, and I love seeing the fans being back also. So it's all gravy and good. Callie saying, love Banton. He brings such energy. Yeah, he didn't really get to play a whole lot last night. Justin and him kind of just get in for spot duty here there. But they did put Banton in for a quick sec in the second half this time. He only got 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, but he had 3 quick assists in there, and they weren't bad assists at all. Like him being a facilitator. And part of the reason Nick said at the end of the game that he put Banton in there was to help with the ball handling when Fred was taking a breather. And he's very adequate at handling the ball and not causing turnovers for himself. Now, those rookies were causing problems again. Like last night, Scotty had a couple turnovers that were pretty bad, that were just rookie mistakes. But then on the on the converse side, he goes and he has this really big inbounds play to OG, almost getting that 5-second violation on the inbounds. It's just so close, like just a hair off of getting that whistle for 5 seconds and just making such a perfect inbounds pass to OG for a really quick, easy layup at that time. That was so deflating for Miami. That was a huge dagger play. And, the turnovers by a rookie and the other parts of the game are totally made up for when he makes such a huge veteran pass on the inbounds to OG in such a crucial time where the game is close and we get points up. Because honestly, we weren't expecting that. Like, I thought that you were going to dribble around and stuff, like not go for a quick score. And it was really smart. And Nick Nurse was a master last night. Like, honestly, Nick Nurse is a freaking genius. Like that one play where they all lined up near the half court. That you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? They're all like near the half court, and then they did this weird cascade of players towards the basket, and it ended up with a Gary trying to lay it in, but he didn't make it, and then Precious crashed the board and put the jam back in. That was such a beautifully designed play, and I love that kind of shit. Like, I love seeing Nick do specific kind of set plays like that, and they're so weird. Like, we had never seen the Raptors line up like that and ever do that before, and it makes me think there's a bag of tricks that he's got that we don't even know about yet, that he could pull out at any moment, like something like that crazy half-court setup inbounds play that cascaded all the players toward the basket, and then boom, Precious ends up with a dunk. Like that would seem like one kind of play where we're going to get 2 points no matter what in that kind of like setup. So yeah, oh my gosh, so fun. All right, let me see. All right, I got to catch up with you guys. Graham, it's time for three throw night school. Yeah, Graham, I hear you, man. They need to either penalize these guys for missing them, give them incentives for making them. I don't know what they need to do, but they really need to. Like, this is the sign of a young developing team that is inexperienced, missing a lot of free throws, because the experienced team realizes the value and importance of making the free throws to make sure you have the right deficit at the end of the game, to be on the right side of the deficit, to be the winner. So yeah, it's such a basic fundamental thing. Like, every level of basketball, this is something that people need to work on. And then at this level, when it's like this, it sucks to see, because you got all the way to this level and you're not making your free throws right now. So I think this is just a rededication that they need to make to really, really concentrating, taking their time and getting into their routine at the line better. Because it's like, sometimes it seems like they're not concentrating when they're at the line. They're just going up there and just chucking it. And that's something that's really easy to improve and will improve for us. Watch, like, over the next year or so, the next couple of years, the Raptors free throw shooting is going to get better again. This is just a weird time because we have a lot of young guys and they're not concentrating, it seems like. Monique saying, NBA, are you fully awake? We are coming. Oh, yeah. Ring that doorbell. Ring that doorbell and come to the door and see who's there. It's the Raptors. Hello. I love it. I love it so much, Monique, because this is something that I saw on paper in the summer once we had this roster going in the season. I was hoping that this would come to fruition, that this experiment, this crazy positionless stuff would actually work and have some teeth to it. And it does, because in some ways I was like, well, maybe this won't work because we don't have any little guys to run around with little guys. But no, that isn't an issue, because our guys are fast enough and they cover enough ground, and it is working. It is working so nasty and nice, and I love it. And I think that, yeah, any team that we haven't seen so far this year, like the Lakers, they're going to be in trouble when they see us finally, and they're going to understand what we're doing. So, oh man, it's so awesome to finally see this great success coming from what they are trying to do this year. So good. Andrew, Alexi, let's go. Biggest win of the season. The Heat are shook. I say it's a big win, but I still think that win on Saturday, just because of how we had to claw and tooth to get to, is the biggest win of the year, maybe the game of the season for the whole NBA. But the game last night is actually kind of like doubling down on saying, yeah, we're a badass, and y'all all need to be like recognizing this and watching out, because we're coming. And this will be interesting to see if we can continue this streak tomorrow against Chicago, who we have not beat this year. And part of the thing that's going on with Chicago right now is they've had some trouble winning games recently. Like, they had not been winning most of their games recently. So let's see if we can pounce on them with what we're doing right now, and they're not doing as well recently because of the injuries and different things that are happening with them. So I don't know. I'll do a proper preview tomorrow, obviously. Today's just a reaction, but I am already looking forward to Gary Trent trying to get 30 points tomorrow night and breaking DeMar's record with him on the court with him. Yeah, drama, baby, drama. All right, let's see. The family, good morning. Always good to see you, family. Flynn can go if it helps the package. Yeah, I agree with that. Flynn could go. Svi could go. You know, anybody. Like, I don't like saying Yuta could go, because I like Yuta and I want Yuta to stick around, even if he's our 12th man on the bench. Like, and Nick has recently said, actually, that Yuta is still considered part of the rotation. He keeps wanting to put him into these games, but he just doesn't find the time or the reasoning to put him in. But he still considers him a part of the regular rotation, even though he's not getting to play like that. But in his mind, Nick Nurse thinks that Yuta is in the rotation. So that says anything. But he keeps saying he wants to plug him in, but he's not finding the right opportunities or chances for him to go in. Andrew, oh my God, did you see that photo of Goran training in Miami wearing a 10-day shirt? I don't know. I'm honestly, I don't care at this point. Like, anything he does, it's stupid. This is the kind of thing where, like, okay, you're supposed to be dating a girl or dating someone, I'll say any partner, and you're attached officially, but then they're out seeing other people, and people are seeing them on the street. They're coming back to you and they're reporting to you, oh yeah, I saw them with so-and-so at the Oyster Bar. And you're like, oh God, yeah, this is what this feels like right now. But honestly, we can be bigger than this and say we've already moved on. Like, let's be this guy. It's like, you know what? Yeah, let him do whatever he wants. Who cares? We're beyond this. We're better than this because we are. He's really inconsequential. I've said this since the beginning, since we traded for him. As soon as I saw his name in the transaction with Precious Achiuwa for Kyle Lowry, I was like, Goran Dragic is not the important part of this deal. Precious is the important part of this deal, and Goran's just bullshit. Like, honestly, I don't care if he shows up or not, because he said he wasn't going to show up at first. He's talking about how it's not ideal coming to Toronto. He didn't want to be here. I said, well, fine. We don't give a shit. We don't need you here, so don't even come. So the whole time, this whole year, I was like, we don't need Goran Dragic. We never did need Goran Dragic. This has just been a headache, and hopefully it'll be all over in the next week or so. Hopefully this will all be over. This whole connection Goran Dragic had to the Toronto Raptors franchise for this stupid period of time recently. But yeah, whatever. Let Goran go be Goran. This is exactly what I just described. This is like your partner who's supposed to be with you, but they're off cheating on you and they're whatever. And you just be like, you know what? I could give a shit. They're garbage anyway. So we got to be that way, right? Monique says, yes, it makes me disappointed. Yeah, I think you're talking about the video or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't like that kind of content still. Like, I really like those kids, Stryker and whatever his name. Those kids are funny. The Raptors Digest kids, like they are enthusiastic. They're fun, but they talk way too much about trade talk and speculating James Harden this and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, just forget about it. It's just wasted air. You're wasting your air. You're wasting your breath. You're wasting our time because we're talking about things that may never ever happen. Like, we could have, shoulda, like a million different ways, and it's like you won't even be close. So I did my prognosticating last year when I did a show on Instagram. It was a juicing show combined with a preview show for the Raptor games. And I would prognosticate and try to predict the actual score for the game. Like, I would say like 110 to 98, and I'd say Raptors win. And then I'd see how close I got at the end of the day. And there were two games where I got the score within 3 points on both sides. There was a Utah game last year that I got it almost exactly right. I was 1 point off the score. So that's the kind of prognosticating that's tough to do, is not in this trade talk stuff. Go try and guess the score of the game before the game happens. Yeah, I was doing that last year, and I did have success twice. I got it right twice out of 72 games. That's pretty good considering how hard that is to do with all the permutations and outcomes that could happen in a game. So let's see. The family, that's how we get people to stay. It's respect our players. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're family. We don't want Chris to feel like the rug's going to get pulled up from underneath him. And there could be already talk between him and Bobby and Masai that, you know, we're going to take care of you this summer. Don't worry. You're here. And that could be part of the reason why he feels very comfortable and he feels good right now. Like, you can tell he feels like he's fitting in. He feels like he's got the right role, and that he doesn't feel like he could get the rug pulled out from underneath him. And that could be an assurance from our head office saying that we're going to take care of you, Chris. Don't worry about it. And I wish people would understand that this Canadian connection is really real and valid. Like, Chris is a Canadian. He grew up in Canada. He's used our money. He's used the metric system. He's lived on this side of the border. And, you know, yeah, he went to Oregon. Yeah, he played for Golden State for a little bit and got a championship with them. But since he's been back in Toronto, he's been home. He's been home. And there's no reason for him to go to a States team when he's happy here. And we will keep him. Watch, we'll keep him. Trust me, we will. Because like I said over and over again, he's a unique talent. There's not very many people in this league that have his body and can do what he does. And that's why I have a lot of value in him. And especially if he's trying to become like Dennis Rodman now with all his hustling, his energy, his fouling, his rebounding, his just everything. Keep him, because he's about to go to another level. And like I said, he's not a money guy. He's not this guy who's just trying to get as much money as possible, for sure. Like, none of our guys are really like that. Because Fred could have gone and got more money when he had his last contract come up, and OG the same. So think about it this way. Some people are just so money-oriented in their lives that they can't see past and understand people that isn't the most important thing to them. And with Chris, money isn't the ultimate ruler in his life. He said it over and over again because he's been homeless as a teenager, and he understands what it's like to not have any money, and he's not greedy. He's not greedy. He's like, I've got enough, and thank God for what I've got in my life now. And he's not greedy. So people got to realize this about him. He's going to help us within our salary cap and our budget with what he's going to try and get from us this year in the summer. So, all right, let's see. Family's also saying Drake is from the 6, and when you're born and raised here, do you have a certain characteristic inside your body? Loyalty to the 6. That's exactly right, man. Like, listen, I have this crazy story. Like when I used to work at Ontario Place, y'all, I was the manager of the pizza kiosk behind the Cinesphere. People that are from Toronto that know Ontario Place know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that big movie theater globe thing out at Ontario Place. I used to run the pizza stand behind it. When you come out the exit, it was right next there. It's not there anymore, obviously, because Ontario Place completely changed. But I'm talking about like the summers of 99 and 2000. I worked out there, and I was in charge of running that pizza stand and making the schedule and making all these pizzas for all these crazy people coming out for the Benson and Hedges Symphony of Lights, like crazy fireworks shows. 100,000 people in the park all of a sudden. We try and be cranking out pizza as fast as we can to feed all these people. Well, one time I was coming into work, and you come across all those bridges to get into Ontario Place, and I saw this kid outside of Ontario Place rapping, like just standing outside rapping. He was good, like he was just going off, and like, but he was just doing a little bit of panhandling just to get some money. You know, that was Drake, y'all, way back then. Like just hanging out outside Ontario Place, kind of just spitting rhymes and getting some attention. Like way before he got big or any kind of thing like that. It was very weird and interesting. But yeah, Drake is family. That's what I'm saying. Like, and he's allowed to go around and be all over the place. And like I said, he could be a double agent. He could be finding out stuff and coming back and talking to Masai. And we know that he's been good for the team because look, our style went way up once he got involved as brand ambassador. Our stuff that we used to wear was ugly. We had really bad style, like as a team. And Drake just fixed all that. He really was a big part of fixing our style, our color scheme, and just the design of the jerseys and the look and everything like that. It was Drake cleaning that up. So we need to understand exactly what he's done. Yeah. All right. Starscream. All right. Nets fan is back, y'all. Didn't I tell you that the Raps would be fine? Laugh out loud. Miami wants no part of you guys in the first round. Yeah. None of them want anything to do with this. I think you guys may not want anything to do with this also. I feel bad for your team right now. Kevin not being available right now, and Kyrie being a knucklehead, and now James Harden saying he wants to get moved in the offseason and stuff like that. But y'all still, you are falling a little bit right now. Like what, you're in the 6th spot. And I think we're 2.5 games behind y'all right now. So we're coming, Brooklyn. Look out. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really looking forward to the Starscream Challenge, the back-to-back home at home with Brooklyn at the end of February. The end of this month, we're going to play Brooklyn 2 games in a row. We'll go to Brooklyn, play y'all there, and then the next night come back here to Toronto and play us again. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Monique's saying free throw night school, anyone? Yeah, free throw night school. Let's just get them all down there and shoot free throws. Although they're working and playing so much, they're not getting much practice gym time otherwise. Because it really is kind of like you get on the court and play right now. That's the only time we want you out there because you are recovering otherwise. And the games are so quick and coming so fast this week that I don't blame them for that. And in some ways, it's kind of good because they come out really fresh and kind of hungry to play again by the time the game actually comes around because they're not practicing. So Starscream is back. At the beginning, when Nick was getting roasted because they were trying these weird plays that didn't work, and now they're starting to work. Yeah. Nick used to get roasted for different stuff. He's a genius, honestly. The Miami announcers were said basically straight up last night, the 2 best coaches in the NBA are Eric Spoelstra and Nick Nurse. That these are the 2 best coaches, and it's fun to watch them play because it's a chess match. There's a real cool chess match going on there. But yeah, Nick, Nick is got big balls that he tries this kind of stuff in this league and tries to change the game. And we will get the fruit from it because he's been so daring that we are going to go places that no other team has dared to go in the NBA with their construction of their roster and their scheme, that he's going to bear the fruit for this because we're going to be ahead of the curve and we're going to show something that everybody else is going to want to duplicate. Like in the coming years, that we are the trendsetters. Oh, yeah. Starscream saying, hey, can we give you guys Harden? for, I don't know, Fred and OG? No way, man. Come on, man. All right, we're doing trade talk here straight up. Like, we're like facsimile GMs here, Starscream and us. No, man, I wouldn't even give you one of them for him at this point. Like, honestly, character is such a huge thing. And then on top of these guys having character, these guys are developing further and further, and they're not resting on their laurels from what they just learned. Like, Fred could easily be like, yeah, this is as good as I'm going to get, but he's continuing to develop and get better and better in areas like being clutch, being more of a vet, just cleaning things up and just getting more crafty. So there's no way I would make that deal. Most people would think I'm crazy. Get James Harden for those two guys. No way. I don't want James Harden. I never wanted him. I didn't want him when you guys were about to get him from Houston. Everybody was saying, oh, Toronto could get him in this deal from Houston. Those Raptors Digest guys, they went crazy over James Harden, trying to get him to come to Toronto. And I was like, no, you guys are idiots. Don't get James Harden. Let somebody else make that mistake. And I'm sorry, Starscream. It's like, I knew he's going to be a mistake no matter where he goes, because these superstar guys at a certain point now in the NBA are a real liability. That the team concept of basketball in the NBA is becoming so much more important than the superstar league that has been existing in the LeBron era, that this is all going out the window, and it's going to be like the Raptors team. They're going to need a team concept, and you can't have any knuckleheads tying up a big chunk of your salary and not showing up or being like this or doing that, like Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, that kind of stuff. So I feel bad for y'all in a way, because you guys have everything on paper. But in reality, there's a lot of issues with your team. And I know it's not Kevin's fault. I love Kevin. Kevin's great. And, I'm surprised at his patience with his teammates this year. He's really got some good patience with Kyrie. And, James now with his shit starting up now is stupid too. So, but yeah, I wouldn't take that deal. John Taylor, good morning. Let's go, John Taylor. I'm here every morning, sometime between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. I'll jump online and do a live stream talking current Raptor stuff, reacting the game last night, previewing the game tonight, doing trivia, just doing dumb Raptor stuff, just fun every day. Let's see what you're saying. John Taylor saying, haven't tuned in a while. How are you doing, Alexiats? Hope you and all the family is well, my friend. Thank you, John. And the same also to you, Mr. Six. I am doing fantastic, especially, I've told people that I'm kind of like E.T. in that I forget the name of the chrysanthemum or something like that. That's that flower that he has in his bedroom. And when E.T. is not doing well, the flower doesn't do well. I'm the flower and the Raptors are E.T. So when E.T. is sick in the bed, he's all white and ashy, that's when I'm like dying as the plant next to him. So when the Raptors are doing really good, I'm like, yeah. And then that's when E.T. busts out and pulls all the medical stuff off him and runs out of the house with Elliot and takes off to the woods. That's where we're at right now. Yeah. Because we're running to the woods and we're phoning home because we're on our way right now. And that plant is in full bloom. And that's how I feel right now. So very, very good right now, John. And thank you for asking. All right, let's see. I tuned into the Heat podcast and everyone was shook, laughing my ass off. Chat was saying some crazy stuff like trade Duncan for GTJ. Ha ha ha. Trade Duncan? We don't want Duncan Robinson. If you mean Tim Duncan, maybe, but I think he's a little old to play in the league right now. No. They think they can get Gary Trent Jr. for Duncan Robinson? No, we'd more likely trade Gary Trent Jr. for Tim Duncan and a bunch of Duncan yo-yos. Yeah, we don't want no Duncan Robinson. We show what we can do with Dunkin' Donuts there. We just dip him and rip him, and he's out of the game. He ain't doing nothing for them offensively. I love it. Yeah. But, yeah, that's funny. The chats are funny in those rooms, and I don't usually read them, but sometimes I do just to see what they're saying. And, yeah, they're funny. Tom Duke. Woohoo, winning. Yeah, winning. Oh, yeah, Charlie Sheen, winning. John Taylor says Yuta is a defensive genius. Yuta in some ways is somebody that we will utilize and get a lot of use out of before the end of the season because he is such a gambler. He's somebody who will put his body on the line at the basket. Somebody's coming to the basket and they want to try and challenge and get to the rim. Yuta is not afraid to get in between them. And I love that about him. And there's so much value in that fearlessness, that it will transfer over into other players on the court when he's out there, whether it's his just out all-ret hustle and cutting, and just everything that he does out there is really good. It's just that right now we're doing it all on our own with the other guys. And if it doesn't happen, that's what I'm saying. Yuta is the straw that stirs the drink. You get him out there if we're a little too stagnant and we're not moving around enough, because he will, and he'll wake them up. So he's kind of like a backup plan. Like if we're in trouble and we're not showing the right amount of energy, then we put Yuta out there and he will get them going again by example. And I like that. I like that. Monique saying Patrick Mutombo, coach of the month. Yeah, 9-3 in January. So happy. That is a great accolade. We do need to give the props to Patrick Mutombo, coach of the Raptors 905, winning coach of the month at the 905 level. They're going to keep rolling, y'all. They won their game last night, just like the Raptors did last night. So we continue to roll. We got past that Capital City A-Go-Go loss on Monday night and won the game against Windy City Bulls last night. Good win. We play them again tomorrow night, Windy City Bulls once again. So watch the 905 if you can, although their games seem to be aligning with the regular Raptors games right now, and it's hard to watch both of them at the same time. Monty, man, what a beautiful morning. He's got such nice, bright yellow suns. But unfortunately, the reality in Toronto is very overcast. There's a snowstorm coming. I thought the snowstorm was coming last night, but apparently he's coming today during the day. So it's going to keep. Sugar Ray says that Yuta sucks. Man, we don't like that kind of negativity. Yuta is not a bad player. It's just that he's on a very good team where minutes are very hard to come by. And this is what we want on the Raptors, that we want high quality playing out there. I've said it before. We want the best juice from the different oranges. And we squeeze from certain oranges, we're going to get the premium quality orange juice. But right now, Yuta's orange juice isn't enough to be in the cup right now with the other premium oranges. But it will be at some point soon, specifically for what I was just talking about with him bringing out energy and stuff like that. We can't just say that because he's not getting an opportunity right now. He's not getting to play because it's going to come back around, and these guys at the end of the bench will get another shot at some point, and hopefully they'll be successful. I fully predict that Yuta Watanabe is going to pull out of all this and be a really good rotational player for us by the time the playoffs are starting to come up. The other guys, I'm not so sure about, but I'll bet you money right now that Yuta Watanabe will be a regular rotation player by the time the season ends. So we can't say that, man. He's not getting an opportunity right now. He has shown that he has sucked at some times, but he's also shown that he's been very efficient and reliable also at the same time. And he's somewhere in between. He's not exactly perfect Yuta, and he's not sucky Yuta either. He's somewhere in between. And as with every single one of these players, we got to ride the highs and lows with them. And right now, his only low is that he got COVID. He was out for a while. He got put out of the rotation partly because of that. And he just hasn't found his way back to it yet. So he will. Trust me. I really would put money on that. Good morning, family. Tom Duke, we have definitely moved on from Dragic. Yeah, we all should have moved on from him as soon as we signed him. Like, that's how I dealt with it. I said, look, I don't care if this guy comes. I just care if Precious comes. Like I said, there was a box. There was a Precious item that was shipped to us from Miami when we sent Kyle down there, and there was a box. And there was a Precious item in there, Precious, that we wanted. And then there were like styrofoam peanuts around it that you discard and you throw out, and that was Goran. We didn't need that part. That was just to make sure that the package came safely and that the money lined up. And honestly, it was always about his money coming off the books by the time the summer comes around all along. It was always like that. I don't even care if we buy him out or anything like that. We could just let it run out and we just get $19 million added to our salary cap this summer. It's all a win. That's what I'm saying. This is not something that had to be timely or is like, oh, this is agony. He's just on our roster and he's an idiot. No, it didn't have to be like that because we held all the cards all along and we were going to get the benefits from this regardless of whether he's a jackass or not. So, yes, I can't wait to see what we get for him, honestly, even if it's just extra money in the summer because he just went off the books. So, John Taylor, what happened with DJ Wilson? Was so excited for him and having him in our rotation. And then I saw he dropped 33 and 19 in his last G League game. Wow, that is a really good line. Well, we still have a communication with him. I'm sure he's probably in our horizon, possibly when we get to expand rosters near the end of the season, coming into the playoffs. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's no guarantees. Like, honestly, in some ways, a lot of people are pushing, would rather have Reggie Perry coming up from the 905 right now because he's playing at a very high level also when he's already in our organization and well versed with everything that we're doing as a team. And not that DJ didn't get a taste of it and stuff like that and look good. Well, we'll see. It's like we'll see what the future brings. That he could get invited back and be back in the fold at some point. Don't be surprised. But if it doesn't happen, also remember the only reason why he was on the Raptors was to replace guys just while they were out with COVID. There was never any like we're adding you permanently kind of thing. This is just a placeholder. We need you for right now kind of thing. So tragic. Yeah, tragic. That's what I call him. Goran Tragic. He's just tragic. He's just tragic. He's just always going to be tragic to me. It's just tragic. It's not tragic to us. It's tragic to him. It's tragic to him because his NBA career is in jeopardy because he's a jackass. So anyway, John Taylor with the OKC. I'm not sure where that was from. Chriscom, bro, you remember my predictions? Both wrong, but the games I didn't guess, they both won. The great Chriscom has made his predictions, and you know what? If you listen to them, maybe you want to go to Pro Line and go the other way. Yes. No, it's okay, Chriscom, man. Making predictions is so hard, honestly, in the NBA. It's really, really hard. Even betting on the NBA. Some people say you shouldn't be able to bet on the NBA because you can look at a game and just say, well, the Lakers are going to win or something like that. But it's never that way. There's always a wild card. There's always some nuance to the game that maybe you didn't see. And it could be that the team that shouldn't have won wins. And that any given night, any NBA team can beat any other NBA team. So actually handicapping and betting on the NBA is really difficult. Like in some ways it's easier than other sports, but in other ways it isn't. It isn't. So, yeah, that's great, Chriscom. But you know what? Listen, we all make mistakes, and that's how we get better. So, you know, if you want to keep predicting, you'll get better at it if you keep doing it, but you're going to be wrong most of the time. That's what I learned from doing that show last year and trying to predict the score over and over again. So it's so crazy. Tom Duke says, I don't like trade talk at all. I mean, it's just a waste of hair. Like, why don't you just talk about whatever you want? We could talk about whatever. We could speculate like all kinds of stupid stuff. We could talk about wrestling fantasy scenarios. Oh, what if The Undertaker fought Andre the Giant? Ooh, you know, we could do that all day. It's the same shit. It's like fan fiction. It's just like making shit up. It's like trade talk people to me are like fan fiction people. Like they like to write about Scooby-Doo and like make their own adventures on their own, stuff like that. That's what it is to me. It's a lot of way frivolous, very frivolous. Chriscom, so I think my prediction days are over. Just keep racking up the dubs. Yeah, all right, Chriscom, that's fine, man. But yeah, let's just keep winning. That's what I like about what you're saying there. But you know what? Try some predictions still. Maybe come back to it at some point. Tom Duke, I like the Italian way. Oh, is that the movie? Oh, it's a good movie. Monty Python saying, we run the team like a crime family. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way. I mean, listen, our organized crime is rampant in the world, and it is it's just an element that is in this world. But there's actually some things about organized crime that's actually really good for society. So it's weird. It's a weird kind of thing. There are really awful things, obviously, that organized crime does also. But yeah, there's certain honor and something to that kind of thing. And maybe that's what we're talking about, is that there's an honor. And our Don is Don Masai. Don Masai, what should we do? Oh, go and trade Goran for this person. Get him out of here. I can't stand him. Make him sleep with the fishes. You know? yeah. Whatever. We can make these comparisons. They're kind of fun. Crime family Raptors. You know, we're on the up and up. Come on, we're good people. But we could be kind of that cutthroat behind the scenes. Like Masai could be like this Don Corleone kind of guy behind the scenes. He's like make him an offer he can't refuse, you know, kind of stuff. I love it. All right, let's see. Monique saying Khem is a week away. Nick says, yeah, in the next week we should be getting Khem Birch back from his nose surgery, and hopefully he will be right up to speed and ready to plug in right away and just do some really good, huge things for us. Like last night, we really could have used him on Bam. He probably would have stopped Bam a little bit better than our guys that we had last night, because that's the thing. Khem is such a wide body and strength that what he does for the Raptors when he's in our lineup is something that nobody else does on the team. And the fact that he's mobile enough to still get up and down the court with our guys enough that it doesn't really hurt us is really good too. Like he's in the right middle between mobile and big enough to do that. So, and I think he would have done better keeping Bam further away from the basket with his body last night, and that we have missed him. Like he is an important part of this team. We're winning right now, but when we get him back, he actually really does help our chances to win immensely when he is in our lineup. So I'm excited about him coming back as usual. I'm a huge fan of Khem Birch, and I feel like he's an essential player for our team to do well in the playoffs. So we need him. We need him. Yes. Tom Duke, pay up, everyone. John Taylor, he has that Slim Jim money. Yeah, Chris Boucher is now a spokesperson for Slim Jim, going in the footsteps of Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah, snap into Slim Jim. Oh, yeah, Elizabeth. But, oh, man, that made my voice get really full of, anyway, excuse me. Yeah, he has Slim Jim money now. So, yeah, Chris isn't about that. Chris is about excelling and becoming a better person himself. Now he's meditating. He's got his priorities in his life. And you know what? Right now his priority is to become a better and better basketball player, role player off the bench, kind of hustle, rebounding guy. And I love it. I love it. Birch back makes us scarier. Definitely makes us scarier. Makes us another body to be in this rotation, maybe take some of the minutes off with some of the guys just a little bit. And just really helping with the big guys. Like it's going to be really important with this West Coast trip we still got to do when we go to Denver and we go and see the Clippers and the Lakers in LA and Phoenix in Phoenix. These are games where we're going to have to play guys like Jokic and Ayton again. And we need Khem Birch for those kind of games. Like when they have their really big centers, we do need him out there just to kind of as a safety valve, especially against somebody like Jokic. Like when we play Denver, this is going to be real interesting to see how we have to handle Jokic because he is a little bit out of our arm range compared to other players with how he operates and does things. So it's really going to be a lot of doubling and just really trying to stifle him as a playmaker is really hard because he's so big. So we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up with that. I'm excited about a Denver matchup with our team. It'll be very interesting. Monty Python, guys, I think Achiuwa had a much better game. Precious, all right, listen, Stevie Roots is down on Precious for some reason. He's like dissing him the last 2 nights. And I'm like, why are you slandering this man? This man is doing great. I mean, listen, once again, I tell him green light on the 3-pointers because they look good when he shoots them and he's hitting them. And the fact that he hit 2 of them last night, I believe. Yeah, he hit 2 3-pointers last night. He has 7 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. He got an assist, a steal, and a block. He's doing great things. He's doing a lot of good stuff. He's very active. He's really good on the boards. I love what Precious is doing. But a lot of people may look at him and see he's awkward and different things like that and feel like he's not doing so well. But he isn't. He's doing fantastic. You can listen to the press conference after the game. Nick Nurse will say Precious played excellent. And he is. He's playing really good. Like the fact that he's getting some threes for us is just extra gravy. And if they're going to dare him and let him shoot those and he's just going to hit them, I'm all for that. Because honestly, he's a good 3-point shooter. And we shouldn't be afraid of him taking outside shots like that. Like he should have the green light just like the rest of the guys. Like he can do all the same things that OG and Gary do. He can drive to the basket. He can shoot the 3. He can do a mid-range. He can do near the basket. So it's like he's not any different. Miami fans really built up this idea that he's not a good shooter, but that's not true. If he can get his form and his rhythm, he is a good shooter. It's just near the basket. He gets hit so much by guys. He's not good at taking physicality yet. And OG's better at that right now. So hopefully OG can teach him or they can teach Precious more about moving through the physicality near the basket and ensuring that you make the basket. Because right now, that's part of his biggest problem is he's taking physical stuff from the other players and he's missing bunnies. And everybody sees that and they're like, oh, he sucks. But it's really that he has to learn how to work through the physicality of the defense that he's going against. So, John Taylor, guys, let's get that like ratio up, boys. Whoa, I'm not worried about that, but I'm okay with it. It's all right. I'll end up getting them at some point, stuff like that. I'm just really happy with more traffic. Honestly, when I get around like double digits like this and something like that, it's really good. Like the other day, I think yesterday I had like 50 people watching yesterday, which is insane. It's really good. And this really is when they start playing better. There's more people coming and wanting to talk about it, obviously. So Monty Python, I wonder what he said to Miami bench when he dropped that corner three and did a little spin. Who knows what Gary and or Precious. That's right. When Precious hit that corner three right next to their bench or something, I don't think Precious talks trash to Miami. I think that some of those guys are still really good friends with him, and that he's such an understated kind of guy in some ways. I don't think he's a real big trash talker. I think that Gary's out there kind of doing most of the trash talking for the team right now. Him and maybe a little bit of Fred. Fred will do some trash talking also. So, that was fun, though. And it was really poetic that he got it right in front of their bench and hit it. And, like, the Miami announcers are, like, so down on Precious. They're like, he was our pick last year, but, we kind of gave up on him. And they're like, whoa, he's so good now. What happened? Can't you see a pattern here, Miami announcers? Gary Trent Jr. was a certain player in Portland. Then he came to Toronto, and he's got unlocked. Precious was a certain player in Miami. Now he's come to Toronto, and now he's getting unlocked. You see a pattern here. That's what I'm saying. Nick Nurse unlocks his players and gets some new stuff out of them that maybe other teams weren't able to do. So that's what's happening with that. Tom Duke, the big sneeze, airballed a couple, but intensity is always evident. Oh, okay, you're saying that Precious airballed a few shots. Yeah, you know what? Guys are going to airball shots from time to time. I've seen Fred airball so many shots this year. Like, that's not like him. Usually he'll hit at least the rim. But yeah, Fred has had some airballs and stuff like that. The thing is, because we're playing such a crazy high energy defense, the other team partly matches it. And that, especially Miami, who's capable of doing that. And it really makes us have hard shots. So we get bad shots that look bad because we're going against really tough defenses. Like, that's really a big part of why Fred only had 4 points at the half last night and he barely taken any shots, is because they really limit him from being able to do anything in these games right now. They're really keen on them. And so these shots are ugly. And even like you see when we come and run out at their shots, how bad they shoot also, because we get a hand in their face and stuff like that. It's the same thing on both sides. So Starscream, no, if Kevin is there, I think we can beat you guys. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to say whether we can beat you guys or not, because by the time the playoffs come around, the Nets and the Raptors could be different teams by then. We still got the end of the trade deadline. We'll see what happens with roster moves and different things like that. And we'll see who's healthy. We'll see what's going on with your situations with your superstars there. Like, what is going to happen with Kyrie in the playoffs when he can't play against the team that he's supposed to play? Like, we play y'all in the playoffs and he can't play at your home arena and he can't play at our arena. He just doesn't play in the series. So these are the things we got to think about when we're thinking about these kind of things. Like, where's Durant going to be healthy wise? Who's going to be healthy and who's going to be on the team and who's going to be playing, whether there's going to be any deals and stuff like that. So I wouldn't feel too comfortable just saying for sure that you'll beat us, even if you just have Kevin. Because honestly, I know that y'all beat us in that one game with him with a bunch of G Leaguers earlier this season, and that was really impressive. With the playoffs and in a 7-game series, and with the way we're playing now, we're playing at a different level than we were since you guys have seen us. Like, you guys are going to have to see us again and see us in the new level that we're playing at right now, because it's not the same as when you guys saw us earlier in the season, Starscream. But I would love this series. I think that the Brooklyn-Toronto playoff series this spring would be so much fun to watch. And I'm here for it. But it'll be a good fight. And I'll always put money on our guys. If it's 7 games, we'll get 4 of them. We'll get 4 of them somehow, some way. All right, let's see. All right, let's let that go by real quick. All right. Whoa, you guys are way ahead. All right, I got to catch up. Okay. Monty Python saying, agreed, Tom. Like, I can live with Achiuwa tossing a brick from 3. I can't live with him missing layups and not boxing out. Yeah, the boxing out thing is something that needs to do better. Like, Bam was eating us up partly because of Precious not really guarding him well. There was that one play where Bam was coming down the court and they basically just got out of his way and he jammed it. And I didn't like that. I didn't like to see that. These are the things that get cleaned up, though. These aren't glaring, huge problems with them, like their game. These are just mistakes, like in the moment. And they're the kind of things that get seen in the tape room and get corrected. So I don't worry about that. And even the the bunnies near the basket are going to get fixed too with Precious. Like I said, he's going to get stronger and more smart about how to finish through contact. And that's really what it is. He's taking contact and he can't finish because he's getting hit so good. Starscream says, remember Kevin Light's beating the Raptors. Yeah, I know. Kevin's come to Toronto. I've been to games myself. I remember a game I went to was an Oklahoma City game that he was playing in, and he absolutely would not let his team lose. Like, he went off and he was like determined to make sure the Thunder beat us that night, and there was nothing we could do. So yes, I understand this level of compete and this ability that he has, but also I understand that our spread out kind of crazy defensive kind of team can do some things. And, I felt like this going in against the Warriors in 2019 in the finals, even when we didn't know whether Clay or Kevin or what was going on with their injuries. And so many people discount our championship just because of their hurt and stuff. But we don't know for sure. Even if Kevin and Clay were there, if we would beat them or not. We might have beaten them still. And they can't say that they just definitely would have beat us just because they were injured if they were playing. That you can't say that. You could say it either way. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We could say we could have beat y'all still because we had Kawhi and we were doing this and that. So it's that kind of thing, man. But yeah, Kevin definitely has a specific personal animosity or love for the Raptors. It's partly because he loves us. He loves Toronto. He wanted to be a Raptor when he was a kid in Washington. He said his favorite team when he was a kid was Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors. And we've always kind of had a spot in his heart. So that's part of it, is that he actually really loves us. That's part of it. It's crazy. It's actually really weird. It's a weird love-hate relationship Kevin Durant has with Toronto because he loves the Toronto Raptors in some ways because they were his favorite team as a kid. So it's so crazy. Monty Python saying, did you guys see the football formation in third quarter? Yeah, I was talking about that. That was such a cool play. The lining up near the half court line. And then I called it a cascade of players just coming towards the basket. And they got a couple of different good shots over this wave that kind of fell through it. I love seeing that because that means that Nick Nurse has really cool set plays that we're not seeing, that he has these bag of tricks like Bobby Bowden used to have at Florida State, these trick plays that he called for the Seminoles and football games. They're just so fun. I want to see more of this crazy trick plays that maybe Nick Nurse has that he hasn't been showing yet at all. Like, who knows what else he's got in there? I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be fun. But that was really cool, and it was super successful. And I really like that even though Gary missed the layup, there was Precious right there to clean up the trash and put the ball in the basket. So it's really good. Monty Python, so smart. No surprise. I don't listen to idiots. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Listen, I am an idiot in a way. Like, I'm a trained clown. I put the nose on and I do clown work. Like, I've studied under a great clown teacher here in Toronto. So I'm actually technically an idiot because I portray a clown idiot in clown scenes and stuff like that. I've performed in front of people and done clown work and stuff like that. It's a real art, like serious, like not like circus, stupid, scary clown shit. Like really learning the art of being a clown and making people laugh and doing things. This is not like this isn't like birthday party clown kind of stuff. This is like performance art clown. This is like pantomime clown. This is like theater clown. And that's something that I'm trained and studied myself. So I am an idiot, but I am a smart idiot, at least. I mean, so at least that. Graham, now that the defense is coming together, we should be seeing more and more flex offense, I hope. Yeah, I think we are seeing it on the down low, Graham. It's just you have to have a really good eye to catch it. And it's really what it is when they're near the top of the key and they're weaving with each other and passing. That's the flex offense. When they're doing this cuts in the screens and then they're passing it kind of cross court over this way, like that way. That's the flex offense. That's Trevor Gleason's plan that he used in Australia to win championships over there. And we are instituting it into our offense. And that's part of why we're getting such a varied looks as far as like different guys getting 3-point shots around the top of the key and the passing around and the screens and stuff. That is actually the flex offense. But there could be more motion in the lane. It's really kind of whether the defense we're facing is keeping us out of the lane, then the flex offense kind of happens at the top of the key. But if we can get penetration, then the flex offense can actually happen in the lane, like where they're passing back and forth. And that's kind of what these really quick passes are near the basket they're encouraged by the flex offense, is to get the best possible high probability shot by passing in an extra pass. Even if you have a good shot yourself, you go for the next shot, the higher probability one. That's part of the philosophy of the flex offense. And that's why we're seeing guys, even though they have good open shots in certain spots, making an extra pass. It's because that's part of the philosophy of that offense. So it's very interesting stuff. It is there. You just got to really look for it. You'll see it. Monty Python. Yeah, Tom, he seemed to bounce back in the second. It was another rough start, but I think he ended up with 12 or something. You're talking about Precious. Yeah, Precious had 12 points last night. Honestly, he played fine. Like, all these guys are making mistakes. Scotty makes huge rookie mistakes every single game right now. Like, he makes a bad pass. He has a bad foul. He does dumb stuff like here and there. That's all going to get cleaned up. And Precious is going to have to be allowed to make some mistakes also, to a degree. Now, the thing is, when these guys make mistakes, Nick can pull them out and not play them for much of the time later, except for Scotty. Scotty's kind of essential. He's going to make mistakes and keep playing. But when Precious makes a couple too many mistakes, you may not see him as much in the second half. But he did get to play a good chunk of the second half last night. That's because he wasn't really too bad. He looked bad at the beginning, sure, a little bit at the beginning. And yeah, so yeah, John Taylor's saying he loves that ET analogy. Yeah, I've always used it. I just feel like you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that plant is just connected to ET somehow, like psychically or like organically or something. And when ET's not doing good, that plant is just like wilting and dying. It's my same relationship with the team. When the team is on an 8-game losing streak, I'm over here like on cardiac arrest, on a defibrillator, kind of just trying to like get through the day. Kind of thing. So Race Mode Daily, is your channel monetized? No, man, not yet. But, you know, listen, if I keep getting my stats up, see, part of the thing is y'all watching me for like an hour on here. It's making my watch time super high. Like, I have crazy YouTube stats right now because there's enough people that are watching me for long periods of time that I'm accumulating quick stats, whether it's views, whether it's viewing time and stuff like that. So we'll see. If I get to this point, I'm going to consistently do this every day. So hopefully this stuff will accumulate and at some point, something like that. But this isn't my goal. I don't care about making money doing this. But if I end up making some money doing this, that's fine. But I'm doing this for the pure love and information and being part of this community with you guys as positive Raptor fans. I just wanted to build this place because I saw the need for it in the world of Raptor fans with so much cynicism, so much pessimism, so much negativity and tearing down people and like stuff like that, that this is not the place for this. This is where we build from the positive and we have our eyes on the prize, which is more Larry O'Brien trophies. And we envision and we talk about and we scheme for the ways that the Raptors will do this in the future, in the near future. So that's really most of it right there, Race Mode Daily. But who knows? Someday this could happen. We'll see what happens in a few years or so if I keep doing this, because I've honestly told myself I'd like to do this for maybe the rest of my life. Like, if I do this stream every single morning for like a decades going forward, I'll do it because I love doing this and it's fun. I love this community, and you guys honestly are in some ways that because of the pandemic and being shut up in my house, you guys are basically like my social group. It's like I don't have any friends to like talk to or hang out with. It's like I'm on the stream every morning and I'm getting that need to socialize and interact with people through this, which is, I mean, sad in a way, but it's also kind of like just part of what's going on with the world and different things. I get back out there and see different people, but some of them I don't want to go see anymore. I'm like, I'll transfer to, get rid of the old and bring in the new kind of thing. So Monty Python saying it's egregious when Achiuwa misses an uncontested layup, but drops a 20-foot bomb. I'll take that trade because it's one more point. Egregious is a great word. Yeah, listen, let these guys have mistakes. Let these guys have problems and issues. They don't have to be exactly perfect. We don't need to be Miami Heat fan in the way they treated Precious Achiuwa in his rookie year. We can allow him to have mistakes and be raw and learn and make mistakes and get better because he's going to get better. He is a raw talent with such crazy physical gifts that he is going to be nasty. Like, he already has a shot on the down low. And if he starts being able to drive to the basket and jamming it like more often in different ways, we're going to see something. He's going to develop and become something bigger than he is right now. It's like Scotty Barnes, same thing. The future is super bright with those two guys in particular. So, all right. Our Toronto, good morning. Good to see you. Oh, come on. Yuta brings zero offense, and his defense has been suspect at best. Okay, another disser on Yuta. You know, he hits open shots if he gets the open three. He's pretty good for that for the most part. He's done a better job of driving to the basket and finishing and being aggressive from last year. And you know, his defense is all right. He is really good at keeping up with guys. It's really the hustle. He's a hustle icon for our team. And he really does stir the drink. I'm telling you, like, if our guys are not putting out the right effort, Nick Nurse can go and turn to Yuta and say, go get in the game and show them what the level of what they need to be playing at. And I like that. You want a guy on the team that's like that you know, no matter what, you can put them in the game, they're going to go all out and they're going to put everything on the court, especially right now because they're chomping at the bit to get back in the game. So when Yuta gets back in the game, we're going to see him go off and go all out all over the court. But yeah, all right, you guys can diss people and say this and this about it. Not everyone can be a superstar in this league. Not everybody can be a top-notch starter. You need different roles and different kinds of players in this league. And Yuta has a good role in this league, and I'm glad he's on this team. But we'll see how the future shakes out. He may not get back in the rotation, and this may be it. But he could get back in the rotation. He could be a player for years to come still on the team. But who knows? I can't tell the future, and hopefully I wish him success just because I like the guy and I want him to do well. So we'll see. Like Tom's saying here, Yuta's the straw that stirs the drink. He really is when needed. Like sometimes the drink is fine, it doesn't need any stirring, and I think that's part of the reason why Nick hasn't been needing to use him in the last few games, is because he feels like the intensity of the energy is really good already with the guys. But if they were dogging it, if they weren't making their assignments, if they were allowing stupid shit to happen because they're being lazy out there, he put Yuta in there to show them and say, look, this is what I need y'all to do. Look at that man run around like that. You need to be like him. So that kind of thing. Monty Python, every time Achiuwa drops a three, I cringe a little. No, don't cringe. It's beautiful. Honestly, there's fundamentally really sound three-point shot. He's had his foot, he got his feet set. He's squared up right. There's a good arc. There's a good release. There's no reason to be afraid of that because his shot is fundamentally good. And actually, he's hitting it at the right percentage to be allowed to have a green light on it. He's not missing more than he's making in a lot of ways. He's making a lot of ones that are important when they're open. And the other thing is he's making them when they're wide open. And that's good because that means that the defense is cheating off of him and trying to guard a double on somebody else. And they're leaving him open and he's making them pay. So we need him to make those threes and be not shy to take them. Because when he makes them, they're awesome. Like he helped us win that Memphis game in Memphis earlier this year because of his three-point shooting. Without him shooting the threes like he did in that game, we wouldn't have won that game against the Grizzlies. So I am all for Precious having a green light to shoot as he will. And it's not ugly. It's not ugly, Monty. It's beautiful, actually. Like, it's really beautiful. Like the one we're talking about when he was in the corner near the Miami bench, that was a beautiful set shot where he went up perfect and shot perfect for him, and it went through swish perfectly. There's nothing ugly about it. There's nothing ugly about it. We just got to be used to it. Our Toronto's saying, give Precious 2 years and he'll be a beast for this team. Yeah, they were comparing him to Giannis coming out of university. There's offensive things that this guy can learn that it's going to be nasty. So, and he's on the right team for this. And like, I love it. I love it. And I really like that he's on this Rising Stars team in this game with Scotty also. Like, it's great that we have two of these guys going. They really should be going. They deserve it. Monty Python saying, agree, Lexi. Yuta just stuck behind a great squad, so he can't progress the same way as others. Yeah, there's just a blockage right now. There's just a bunch of guys. This is what Nick wants to do right now. So it's really hard to get your foot in the door, and it's not really a detriment to those guys necessarily. It's just that he really wants to do a very specific thing on the court, and it's working. So we can't knock him for it, but I'm sure he'll plug him in. He said it. He said it just in the last day or so. I'm going to play Yuta. I've been intending to play Yuta. I just haven't found it and put him in yet. So it is what it is. All right, let's see. Jason Smith, Raptors are into winning. Oh, yeah, Jason, you are right, man. Welcome. Thanks for coming. We're here every morning live streaming on the Raptors. Monty Python, if Yuta played 50 minutes a night, might be a different opinion. listen, think about the game when they played Cleveland and he was our leading scorer and we didn't have anybody else. Like, he was the guy who had to be the scorer for the Raptors when we had 4 G Leaguers and just 4 of our bench guys. And he was okay. He got the basket in. And even in the game he just played recently for the 905, he was really good and adequate with his scoring. He was doing defense and a lot of things, very efficient in some ways. So this is the thing. We got to realize that there's something more below the surface. The iceberg there's just a tip. There's way more underneath the water. And we need to realize this, in fact, about some of our guys on the bench also. So let's not beat up on Yuta. He doesn't deserve it. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just on a team that's really good, and he's just not finding minutes right now. Says even when he plays, I don't think he's that bad because he's doing good on defense for the most part. And sure, it'd be great if he could get us some points when he's in the game, but we'll see. We'll see what happens next time he gets another chance. Let's see. Graham, I worry more about Achiuwa when he tries a layup. Yeah. Like I said, the layup stuff, this is a thing. Pascal, too, last night was missing bunnies. And part of it is Miami grabbing arms and pushing and stuff like that. But I wish these guys would just dunk it. I just wish they would just come up and just jam it. Like, because OG does that. If OG's near other guys, he just says, I'm going up and I'm throwing it through. And Precious and Pascal need to do the same thing. Same thing with Chris. Chris can dunk these too when he gets down low because they're hitting them sideways. They're pushing them this way, and they're like going this way. And then the ball's like just coming out of the rim and that kind of stuff. So it's really like learning how to play with that contact right near the basket and finishing no matter what. And that's a skill. And part of it, OG's good at it. OG's the one that's probably the best out of all those guys. Precious could get better. Chris could get better. And Pascal, too, could even get better. But he's getting better himself, too, because it's tough. Monique saying the 905 bench was way better than ours. 130 points. Insane. Reggie Perry, come on over to us. Yeah, they've got a lot of good players on 905 right now for that level. And, like, I'm really happy that they're doing really well. I'd like to see them win the championship for sure. And Reggie Perry on the regular Raptors team eventually, that'd be great because he's a really good pro. Like, he's just a good young man. He's going to do good things for us, like box out. He can kind of play center. He can kind of guard big guys. So, and he's mobile enough that he won't hurt us in the big game, like running up and down the court. But he can still maybe put a body on guys like Embiid and Jokic and do some stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Reggie. Hopefully he gets invited to be on the main roster near the end of the year. If it's not him, it's DJ Wilson. That's fine too. I'm open to either one. And I don't feel like I have the expertise to make that really like hairline pinpoint decision between Reggie Perry and DJ Wilson. And once again, I trust in Masai. I trust in Bobby Webster, that these guys know what they're doing as the front office of the Raptors, and they're going to make the best possible decisions. So I don't even question what they do anymore. And then later, I'm not like analyzing what they did, whether it's right or wrong. I just think they're doing the right stuff, and I believe in them. That's all. So let's see. Tom Duke says, that I have the best analogies. This is the thing, man. If I can be goofy and get my stupid like sayings and stuff like that out there in outlet, this is the place. So yeah, I'll always bring up some dumb stuff. And listen, I love saying crazy things and having good similes and metaphors and homilies and whatever, things I'm doing on here. They're silly, and sometimes I'll even sing a song at some point during there. Like, what did I sing earlier? I was singing a song earlier already. I don't even remember. I was singing Boom and Granny yesterday. Let's see. Horsehead in the bed. Oh my gosh, you guys are really going in the mafioso part. Yeah, maybe there'll be a horsehead in Goran's bed down in Miami. You wake up, you look over, and there's a horsehead in his bed. Yeah. Don't mess with Toronto Mafia. That's right. G saying a Bleacher Report just came out that Beal may be open to a trade. Not saying for us because our core is amazing, but the league may be shook up soon. The other thing I heard about with Washington is that Spencer Dinwiddie is on the outs. Like the other team, the rest of the Wizards hate him. Like they hate Spencer Dinwiddie. None of them want to play with him. This is what I thought was going to happen. Earlier in the season, I kept saying Washington has problems. I know that they're not going to be fitting in together because they have guys that are too similar. And I think that what's happening is Dinwiddie is becoming the guy that's obnoxious and annoying on the team, and they don't want him there. So now we've got another Eastern team that has a problem on the roster with a personality. And, I think that part of it is that Dinwiddie is so similar to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bradley Beal in a way that they're kind of all the same role. And maybe there's a little bit of infighting and rivalry between those guys. But at this point, that's what I read last night, that the Wizards want to unload Dinwiddie because he's not fitting in with them as a culture. And it may be that Beal is part of that also. But that's very interesting that the Wizards are becoming sellers at the trade deadline, that they weren't this great playoff run team like everybody's saying at the beginning of the season. They're so great and stuff. Now they're all of a sudden they're going to move some of their parts. So, but this is good. Them having that problem, Julius Randle in New York, Kyrie in Brooklyn, Ben Simmons in Philadelphia, who's been fined $19 million this year. This motherfucker really believes in what he's doing because he just lost $19 million. That is insane to me. That is insane to me. Like, Ben Simmons, you're an idiot, dude. And like this whole thing, they're talking about how he was waiting for them to come see him at his training place or something like that. And it's like, this guy is an idiot. Like, honestly, we do not want a player like Ben Simmons on our team. We do not want a player like Julius Randle on our team. We do not want a player like Kyrie Irving on our team. These guys are all headaches, and they bring their teams down. And I'm so glad that we don't have those kind of guys. That's another reason why I'm not big on going into trades, is because that can be an unknown place where you put your team with bad chemistry all of a sudden because you brought somebody in that you thought was going to make things better. But in a way, they fucked up your culture because they're an idiot. So that's why I'm really picky about the character. And like, I'll look at the guy and I'll say, no, this guy's not a fit for us. I don't want him. John Wall, I don't want him. Bradley Beal, I don't want him. James Harden, I don't want him. And yeah, sure, they're super talented, great players, but also I don't want them. Yeah, pure and simple. Because, go be on another team and cause problems for them. Russell Westbrook, same thing. If that whole stupid Kawhi deal had happened the way he wanted, where we traded those guys to get Russell and Paul George and have Kawhi still on the Raptors, but we sent like Pascal, OG, and Fred to Oklahoma City, that would have been the stupidest deal we could have made to make Kawhi happy. And then we'd have upset Russell Westbrook, hurt-ass Paul George, and Kawhi would be our GM. No. Thank God Masai told him no and said, you go ahead with Uncle Dennis and you go to LA and you be like the GM of the Clippers instead, because we're not letting you do that here. And thank God, because we'd have Russell Westbrook problem and all kinds of stupid shit happening here in Toronto. So we're doing it the right way. Let the other teams have a short fix, a quick fix to try and fix things with superstars and just bring in big names, and they can feel the folly of that kind of thinking and what their results happen for them. No, we do it the right way. So, all right, let's see. That makes so much sense. I bet he requested Toronto, man. Of course, they all want to come play for Toronto now. That's part of it, too. It's like we're the hot girl in the league. These other teams are like, man, that's really attractive. Oh, I see what's happening with them. They look like they're having fun. Oh, that's really interesting what that coach is doing. Wow, he lets them play like that? They can do that? Yeah, other people in the league are going to want to come here. This is part of the thing that we're killing this myth that nobody wants to play in Toronto, because people do want to play in Toronto. That is actually true. It may not have been true before and decades before, but people do want to come to Toronto and play for us. It's a world-class organization. They get developed. They become better players. They make more money. So these are the things that these selfish guys are thinking from the outside. Meanwhile, the guys that we get on the team are the guys that are doing it with the heart, doing it for their dad, doing it to prove everybody that they were good enough and to make this level. And, that's the difference. We want those kind of guys. We don't want the guys that are just coming to get a money grab and just be, superstars in their own head. So they got to be superstars on the court. All right, let's keep going. Monty Python, this obviously a stretch, but I hope. No, we don't want Bradley Beal. We do not want Bradley Beal. He's a high-volume shooter that doesn't make enough of his shots. He's on decline. He's not as good as he was 4 years ago. He was a way better player before. He's on the decline. He's not that good. If he comes here, he's going to have to be a bench player, and he's going to have to play limited minutes, and he may not like that. So I don't want Bradley Beal on this team. We've got Gary Trent Jr., and Gary Trent Jr. is better than Bradley Beal right now, guys. Gary Trent Jr. is Bradley Beal like a couple years ago right now. And in fact, he may be better on defense than Bradley Beal was. So, yeah, I don't want Bradley Beal, man. Yeah, Gary Beal. You said it. Gary Beal. G's right. His name is Gary Beal. No, he doesn't even need his last name. He doesn't give Gary Trent. Gary Trent Jr. and his father Sr. was in the crowd last night. Did y'all see Gary Trent Sr. in the crowd last night? Oh man, that's an old former Raptor. The legacy is intact. Oh yeah, Monty Python, totally agree. It's like, who do we offer? Nobody. We don't want to trade any of our guys. We just want to trade this money that has to do with Dragic and maybe one of the more not as important end of the bench guys, but none of our core guys they're all staying because they're part of the plan going forward. Let's see. Monique's saying, great to see Precious Achiuwa playing well. Remember how fans want to send him to G League? So funny now. Man, I didn't even hear that. People were saying send him to the G League? Nah. Precious doesn't need to go to G League. And I thought maybe Scotty should go to G League just to have the experience, but I don't think he should either. Because like he is actually a bona fide NBA starter already, which is crazy because I honestly wanted to develop him off the bench and take some of the pressure off him, but he wants to be thrown right in the fire, be a starter, play at the end of the game, play at the beginning of the game, guard the starting center, take the jump ball, be a backup point guard. Let him do whatever the fuck he wants because Scotty's doing a good job, whatever he wants to do on the court. And yeah, I didn't realize that some fans were saying that we should send Precious to 905. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And this is another thing. This is a great situation for Raptor fans to maybe not do what they do with these players over and over again. Leave Precious alone. Let Precious be Precious and learn and grow in his way. And not dump all over him and point out all of his mistakes and stuff like that because he's raw. He's a raw talent, and he's going to have mistakes, and we can all point them out. Everybody makes mistakes in their lives, but nobody needs to be just hanging around the person and saying, yeah, you messed up when you threw that garbage into the trash can. You didn't make it in the trash can. You suck. You need somebody over your shoulder analyzing your whole life like that, telling you where you don't do things right and stuff like no. So let him have mistakes and successes equally because he's going to have them. And it's just a matter of it. But the whole thing is collectively, if they all have more successes and less failures, then we win. And that's what happened last night. But there were a lot of failures last night. And I'm amazed that we still won last night, considering how much we didn't play well at certain times. We didn't make free throws. And we weren't able to make shots at certain times. We had some stagnation at different times, but not for too long. Nothing too crazy. All right, let's see what's going on. John saying, I got to go, boys. The wifey cheese. Wifey is cheesed. Uh-oh. No, you don't want wifey cheesed. Love y'all. Let's back our boys to the end. Take care, my ET friend. Keep grinding. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got an ET here. Here. This is my Funko. I have a Funko collection, but yeah, there's my ET. This is one of my favorite Funkos. He's so little and small. I love ET. That movie's so good. It made me cry. All right, let's see. All right, Chris come. All right, cool. I got Raps by 7. Next game. Keep up the good work, broski. Okay, Raps by 7 over the Bulls tomorrow night. All right, we got you marked down for that. Ty T, good morning. Big Sneezy hit the corner 3 in front of his gold team and stared down their bench right after it. Yeah. See, that's the kind of Precious comment I like because it's true. And this big sneezy nickname, I don't know. I was calling him what was I calling him? Small Sneeze? No, I wasn't calling him Small Tease. I forget. Anyway, his name's so interesting and funny. It's easy to make good nicknames for him. What was it? Chewy? People were calling him Chewy a couple weeks ago. I like that. Chewy's a good nickname for him. Chewy. Like Achiuwa, Chewy. Monique saying OG dunk on Jimmy. Good God. I love. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm glad you brought this up, Monique. Paul B, we got to put that OG dunk on the dunks of the year list. I think that's better than the other OG dunk on there. OG's had some really crazy dunks, but he got up high on Jimmy on that one. Like he got up higher and just like, he wasn't going to be denied. It was nasty because that was a posterization. That was definitely a posterization that OG did on Jimmy Butler with that dunk late in the game. And it was so nasty, and I loved it. I loved seeing that. That's what I'm talking about. When sometimes OG can get into like angry OG or aggressive or like really energized OG, I love seeing that because that kind of stuff happens when he's in that mode. Let's see. Good point, Mo. I think OG heard Alexi say he wanted OG to have some edge. Oh, I don't know. I don't think he heard me, but maybe he's just hearing it from other people. They're saying, go out there and get it. It's theirs for you to take. So Tom Duke, yes, Mo, I thought about Precious. Glad he seems to be turning it around. Yep. Yeah, I think he hasn't really been that bad at all, really. He's been just kind of the same the whole season. A mixed bag of a few mistakes here, but some really amazing raw talent and some things that he's done that are like, whoa, he can do that too. And honestly, there's things that he's done on the court this year that I didn't realize he could do, like as a player. Like his dribbling skills are a lot better than we give him credit for. And also, like his outside shot, like I've already talked about it today, it is way better than I thought it would be. Like his shot is a lot better than they give him credit for. He's going to be good. And his mid-range is actually his best range that he shoots from. He's really good in the lane, about 10 feet away from the basket. He's really good with one-hand shots and getting those to go in the lane and stuff, like pick and roll kind of like short shots. So I really love Precious. I'm glad we have him. Him and Scotty both, when they were coming in last year, I was like, man, we got some really good players coming in. And these two are the epitome of it. They are the epitome of it. G said Miami fans want Precious back because he's now shooting threes. I know these Miami fans are idiots. Like they covet Kyle for so many years. Now they finally got Kyle. And like they covet things that they don't have. They go and see other players on other teams and they're like, we got to get them. And then they start the whole trade buzz and like speculation and rumors about getting like the whole one that's going to be is Scotty. And they did it again last night. These jabronis, Eric Reed and John Crotty, the announcers for the Miami Heat, keep saying you know what they said last night at one point? They said, you can feel good about rooting for Scotty because he's one of us. Those motherfuckers actually said that on their broadcast because he's from West Palm Beach. He said, you can feel good rooting for Scotty because he's one of us, but don't feel good about rooting for any of the other Raptors because they're not from Miami. You know, they're so fucked up. And they really do think Scotty is like one of them or like a secret on the download Miami Heat player for them or something like that. The way they talk about him is so stupid. He's on the Raptors, y'all. And like I said yesterday, he's never been a Miami Heat fan. He was not a Heat fan when he was a kid. He's on the record for saying that he does not have any special affinity for the Miami Heat team. He has as much affinity for y'all as Orlando Magic, as Atlanta Hawks. He's an NBA fan who loves players. His favorite player when he was a kid was Magic Johnson. He loves a lot of like the old school kind of players. And that's what he's a fan of. He's a fan of the NBA and its history. Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, championship runs, Detroit Pistons, Bad Boys era, Lakers, Showtime era, Celtics, Larry Bird time. He's a fan of that kind of stuff because that's the stuff he was watching with his dad. And it's evident because we see the way he plays on the court. He's an old school throwback. He's a throwback to that era. He does stuff like, what did he do? He did the up and under. He tried to. He didn't make it. He tried to do the Dr. J up and under underneath the basket in a game recently, but he didn't make it. But there's a lot of homages that he's doing with his body on the court to people like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Dirk Nowitzki, the little jump shot to the side. He did the little Dirk Nowitzki shot sometimes and stuff. So, yeah, they want him to be theirs, Scotty, but they're not going to get him, hopefully. I mean, they're going to try some dirty shit, and they're going to probably be some collusion and all kinds of crazy shit, them trying to lure him to come play for them. So, Miami fans are the worst. Like this one Miami fan had the audacity in the mid-2000s to tell me after they had the Olympic Games and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh made the pact to come together and play for the Miami Heat. He heard about it somehow, some way, and he said, he came to me and we were in grad school at FSU at that time. He said, you know, you're going to lose Chris Bosh because he's going to come from Toronto to Miami in a year with LeBron James. And I laughed at him. I said, yeah, you're crazy. You're messed up. But the Miami Heat fan was right. They ended up doing that. He told me that the decision was going to happen a year before it happened. I hated him for it. I hate you for that, Jason, for telling me that. And then it happened. So Heat fans are devious and they will do some screwy stuff. So look out for that kind of talk and what they want. What they want, they try and go get, and they'll do any means necessary. And some of the times it's illegal, like what they did with Kyle Lowry. They got in trouble for it. So, Tom Duke, I thought the G League might help boost his game like it obviously has quickly done for Delano. Actually, that G League game did do good things for Yuta. And you're talking about with Precious. I think if Precious went down there, part of the problem could happen is, and this is the same thing with Scotty, there's more risk in hurting their confidence because they go down there and they don't do well. Like what if they go down there and they don't play well? You could really hurt their confidence. So there's in a way it's a risk to send a guy down there if you don't necessarily need to do it for the development. And these guys don't need the floor time because they're getting it on the Raptors main roster. It's mainly for guys who aren't in the regular rotation getting enough minutes on the main roster. They need time on the court. That's what the 905 is for. And that's why those two guys shouldn't go there, is because they are established main rotation guys and they get the time on the main court. And if they get sent the 905, they could look bad and it could hurt their confidence. So it could do more damage than help at that level in some ways. So that's what I think is a part of the whole thing with Precious not going to 905. G said, I knew Gary was good, but I thought he was a bit of a diva. Don't judge a book. He is intense, a gunner, and a trash talker to boot. I love it. Yeah, I would thought he was aloof. I didn't know exactly where his what his things that are important to him were inside and stuff like that. But they're getting revealed this year, and he's all about the team. He's all about improving as a better player. He's all about winning, and that's exactly what we need from him. It's not that he's out there trying to be worried about his own personal stats. It's just that his personal stats are very good for us to get right now, and we want to feed him the ball. But it's not like it's an ego thing where he says this is mandatory and this has to happen. Because at some point, this 30-game streak is going to end. Hopefully it doesn't end anytime soon. But at some point, it is going to be a point where Pascal is going to become the leading scorer again at some point. Fred will have to be the leading scorer on a given night. And that's just going to naturally happen. But the ego of Gary is going to be fine. He'll step aside and allow for the flow and the season of how this kind of all shakes out to just happen naturally. But he's going to become more and more important and be go-to guy for sure, no matter what, even if he's not our leading scorer night in, night out. So I'm excited about it. I think that Gary is in a really good place, and they just got to keep going. Let's see. Monty Python's laughing. Jason Smith says, got good energy. The NBA is in trouble. Yeah, this team has got a lot of good energy. They got a good mojo, and they're not fighting. There's no infighting. This team is very all for one for all, three musketeers kind of like mentality. They are on the same page. Stay shooting, Fred and Gary. I love that, Monique. I completely agree. Shooters got to shoot, and these guys, they could shoot like really poorly for part of the game. Like Fred was 5 of 11 last night. That's not horrible. Gary was 11 of 20. That's really good, actually. 6 for 10 from 3-point land. I still think Gary's going to get a 40-point game before the end of the season and maybe even flirt with getting a 50-point game. We'll see. It's really about being efficient. Like if he shoots like 80% from the field in a game, he's going to get that much just because of how much volume he's getting shots in. So he makes like a majority of them. That's just math. And plus the free throws, like he just make his free throws. He's getting extra points that way also to add to his overall total. So that's part of why these guys need to tell themselves when they get to the line, this could be added to my scoring percentage. This could be added to my numbers. Why am I losing these opportunities and messing up right now? Because I could have a higher scoring average if I get these and help my team also. So Gary said for the first time he can play without looking behind his back if he makes a mistake. Yeah, Portland was like that with him. He was really on the between like being a starter and being a bench guy, going back and forth. And he was kind of like that for us last year in the second half of the season before this year. Wasn't clear if he was bench or he was starter, and they jerked him around a bit. Like they would really like if you didn't play exactly perfect, he was maybe not getting minutes all of a sudden for the Trailblazers. And that's not happening now. He really does feel freedom. And they did talk about this in the press conference last night, and that's good. That's a good thing, because that's the thing all around. Like whether it's Chris Boucher and the possibilities of getting traded, or Gary Trent and the possibilities of not getting time, getting put on the bench. These guys want insurance. They want to have the feeling that they're supported and looked out for by the team. And this is the way that we do it. We do it in those kind of ways. And that's why we have a good core and we have good character and guys are happy. Because players can become unhappy on teams for really dumb, stupid little reasons. And for the most part, most of our guys seem really happy on the team. Some of the bench guys aren't happy, sure. But that's mainly more with themselves. So we'll see what happens with them. Hopefully they can get out of it. Let's see. Monique saying those early fouls on Pascal again get me nervous, especially when we're so close. You know what? I thought about that too, and it does bug me too. But honestly, none of our guys have really been in serious foul trouble like the other games in about a week ago or so. They've been okay because they've been very equitable with putting fouls on different Raptors, like one or two on each one. But nobody's really getting like absolutely most of the foul attention from the refs, which is good. But even when Pascal gets early 2 fouls like that, I like that. And part of the reason why is because Nick's playing these guys too much. So when Pascal gets 2 fouls, that means he's got to go get a rest right away. That may mean that he's getting more rest throughout the game because he's being limited because of his foul trouble. And that may also mean at the end of the game, he's fresh for sure, because he didn't play as many minutes. Like, well, how many minutes did he end up playing because he got that foul trouble? 35 minutes. That's way less than he normally would have. He would have played like 40 minutes if he didn't get in foul trouble last night. And so in a way, he's fresher. And it also means that somebody like Chris gets to come in earlier, or Precious, and they can start contributing in some way. But it kind of starts the stagger of the rotation of bringing guys in and off the bench. When Pascal or somebody in the starters gets 2 fouls, has to come out early, then that starts the rotation period of bringing guys in. And I'm all for it, because in some ways, these guys maybe need the rest because of how much we're playing them. So it is something to be nervous about, though. But it's really more like when they get like 4 or 5 in the third quarter, that's when to be really nervous. Like if they get like 4 or 5 fouls somewhere in the third quarter, or even in the fourth get 5 fouls, then yeah, I'm worried. But if it's early like this and like that, and like that, it really just tells me, okay, Pascal's got to go sit. This could be good and beneficial in a way also. So let's see. Monique is saying, Jason, I think you're talking about how the Raptors are going to have it really easy because of the way the team's made up. I think so too. We'll see. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard work, but they're ready to do it, and they'll do a good job. Let's see. Monique's saying, please guard Vucevic better tomorrow. Thanks. A team effort, please. Yeah. Well, as per usual, with any big guy, we got to have the double come quick and fast to mess him up when he's turning to make his offensive move. The further away from the basket positionally, we can keep him bodied out, the better. And then also, like late in that game, that last game against Chicago, we really got to find him late in the game just in case he wants to hit a big three. Like he can't be hanging around the 3-point line like he did in that last game and hit a dagger like he did. You got to really watch out for him. He's a 3-point threat also, and make sure that he doesn't get something like that again, because that really was a big key dagger in that last game with the Bulls, was when Vucevic hit that three to put them away, to put us away. So Monty Python, no kidding. People also want to play with the Jays now with players like Vladdy and Bo. Toronto, I don't know much about what's going on with the Blue Jays and stuff like that, but Toronto's a fun city. Toronto on the down low, it's not like they say people don't want to come here because the money's different and there's higher tax rate, it's cold and stuff like that. But there's so many other positives that outweigh that. Like the city is a world-class city that has so much in it. The people here are fantastic. The restaurants here are amazing. There's so many good things about this city that outweigh all those other things. And those other things, maybe not the tax stuff and stuff like that, are evident in other northern NBA cities. Like the weather's just as bad in other NBA cities. So that's a cop-out kind of like reasoning for not wanting to be here. And, if you can't handle the metric system, Antonio Davis, I understand. You don't want to be here for that too. But this city is attractive to play in and be here because it's a world-class city and it has everything to offer as a city. So let's see. Monty's also saying, I thought he would be best served from the bench originally. I was clearly wrong. You're talking about Gary Trent, I'm pretty sure. You're talking about Barnes, which is fine. Barnes, Chewbacca. Yeah, you guys got to realize you're going to have to write it all in just so I know what you're talking about, because sometimes I'm not caught up. Yeah, 3 in a row, fun guy. Let's go get number 4 against the Bulls here. Tomorrow, DeMar DeRozan, let's go. They've kind of been in a weakened state recently. I'll do the research tonight and tell you exactly where they're at tomorrow morning in the preview. But yeah, I'm excited about the prospect of, continuing to win. Let's take each game one game at a time. We can beat Chicago tomorrow night. That's 4 games in a row. And then we get Atlanta back here again on Friday night also. They're just coming so fast. We can get a quick win streak really quickly. And in some ways, maybe these compact game schedule right now is actually really good for us, because we're in a good rhythm and we're getting to keep going on the beats. Like today, they should be resting. I don't think that the starters, the main 5 guys, are going to do anything today. The rest of the team will probably have a regular practice with the guys who aren't getting a bunch of time. But the 5 guys that get a lot of time right now, they're all in bed, and they ain't going to be moving around doing a whole lot at all for today, because they want to keep them ready for tomorrow and the game on Friday also. So Monty Python, Scotty will be super max immediately, homegrown Kawhi. I really hope so. I just want him to get super max for the rest of his career. Just be a Raptor. Be like Larry Bird. Be like Reggie Miller. Be like John Stockton. Be like all these old NBA players that stuck with one team, stuck with their team the whole time through and did what they did. You're going to win championships here, Scotty. Don't worry about that. Because you go to other teams, there's no guarantees. At least here, you know what's getting built and how it's getting built into quality in the right way. You go to another team, there's no guarantees. You may get more money. No, you won't get more money because we'll give you the money. You may get some more attractive things, like Miami saying they want you here, or the Lakers are saying they want you here, but you may be in more of a mismanaged, like a toxic, weird environment than being in Toronto. So realize that. Really, really understand that the grass is not always greener on the other side. You need to realize that the grass that you're standing on already is as green as it gets. And this is where you want to be, because you're going to get the green from us. We will pay you. Trust me. We will pay you, Scotty. Just stay here. Don't go nowhere else. I'm going to keep saying this for years up until this all happens for sure. Because, Giannis stayed in Milwaukee. Scotty will remain in Toronto. I really hope you're right. And Giannis is a good role model for this. Like, I am really honestly glad we didn't get the Giannis sweepstakes, that we didn't have him happen to come and get us, and that he did stay in Milwaukee, because it really does do good things for the league overall. It stops all this crazy jumping about from team to team. Like, they showed this crazy graphic last night of OG Anunoby, the Miami Heat broadcast, saying he's been on the Raptors for all 4 seasons of his career. Yeah, it's because we drafted him and we haven't traded him. We've kept him here. Just because the rest of the league is so transitory and people moving around every which way doesn't mean it's good for the league. It doesn't mean it's good for team building. And that's part of what's the problem with the league, is too many teams are shuffling guys in and out too quickly before anything can actually grow. And the Raptors are smart enough to realize you need to keep the same plants together in the same garden to get the really good garden. You can't keep switching plants in and out of the pots and expect good things to happen. So that's why we're doing it this way. That's why we're investing in guys. And that's why we don't pull triggers and do deals all the time like some other rosters do. So I'd like to do it the way we're doing it. And I hope that Giannis is a trendsetter for really big superstars for the future, that they decide they want to stay with their teams and get the Supermax and continue with where they are already. Scotty, please. Good afternoon. Click 2 a.m. Good to see you, Click. Drake going through trade deadline plans with Masai. Yeah, I think there's probably part of that. Like, I would like to think that whenever Drake's talking to Masai, especially because Masai's working, when he's sitting in the crowd watching a Raptor game, I'd like to think that Drake's not over there talking bullshit like his album, or talking about music, or just trying to talk to him in general. I hope that Drake's talking basketball with him when he's sitting over there. And, like I said, I feel like Drake, when he was down there at the Miami game a couple weeks ago, he may have been like, yeah, I saw them play this game the other day. And he's telling Masai like what his insight and stuff like that. Because Drake does have a little bit of basketball knowledge. He's not totally like a really great X's and O's kind of guy, but he definitely, he is somebody that they listen to. And like, it's so weird. So many people hate Drake. So they have a hard time with Drake's relationship with the Raptors, but I have no problem with him. Honestly, I think he does good music. I've enjoyed him, and I love what he's done for the city. He's not just a brand ambassador for the Raptors. He's a global ambassador for the city of Toronto. And he brings a lot of love and interest and attention to our city, just himself, just because he's such a big worldwide superstar in music. So there's so many good things to have him on our side. Like, each team, some teams have like stars around them. Like, the Brooklyn's got Jay-Z. Different teams have different guys. Milwaukee's got a Method Man. Method Man's a big part of their culture there. And he's like at a lot of the games on the sideline and stuff. Drake's our guy. And I'm all for it. Okay, let's keep going. They looked like they were speculating some trades. Sure, I like to see that, Monty and Click. Monique saying the Scotiabank crowd is going to be a major boost. Yeah, kudos to the small group that was in there last night. You were really loud and good for what you were, and you helped that building not be so echoey and so empty and quiet. You did a good job to just the few that were in there, and I'm proud of y'all. And you're just an appetizer of what's to come. Because really, we need to take this seriously as fans. When we get back in that building, when we're off the DL and we're fully healthy and we're back in that building, we need to not take this for granted, because it's been taken from us two different ways, whether it's being in another city or this year with not having to be able to have people in our arena. So when we get back there, we need to do it extra tough for them. We need to show them all the love, the support, and the sound that we should have been giving them during this period of time when we weren't in there. Extra. And when we do finally get in there, man, and it's going to be so beautiful, emotional, and great. Honestly, this may be more emotional to me than the beginning of the season against Washington when they finally came back in the beginning of the season, because we didn't even really appreciate it then as much as we do now, with having to see all the rest of the league have fans in their stands and us be the only team that doesn't have them. So when we get back, it is gonna be a major boost. And I know that you'll be there, Monique, and I know I'll be there too. I'll be there and I'll be loud. Oh, I'll be loud. Oh yeah, I will be. Monty Python saying, I just caught 2 Gary Trent Jr. jerseys. It's like that, baby. So you just bought a couple of Gary Trent Jr.'s jerseys. That's awesome, Monty. Yeah, rep him. I'm actually kind of curious which Raptor jerseys you've decided, which styles, which colors, because there's so many out there. So I could be all kinds of places. You could have an old school coming. You could have a Welcome Toronto black and gold. You could have, I don't know what you got coming. Kind of maybe you could tell me, Monty. I hope Beal requests to Toronto, not because we want him, but because it boosts the credibility of the franchise in the league. I think, honestly, they see what we got going on here and they want to be a part of it. They want their lives to be a little easier. They want to have victory. They want to see and feel like they're building towards something worthwhile. And it sucks for Bradley because this year he got a whole new supporting cast and he got a lot of like hot air saying, yeah, the Washington's going to be different this year. They're different and stuff. And now it's just turning out it's the same kind of shit. It's just the same kind of shit as before, same, just the new era, same shit. And he's frustrated with that. He wants to go somewhere where he knows a franchise is capable and is working in an intelligent, smart way and getting somewhere. And Washington's never done that. They've never done that since he's been there. And that's part of the problem. So, yeah, of course he's going to point to us. But, yeah, all right, let's see. You already have John Wall working out in Toronto gear. Yeah, I know. It is funny. I mean, listen, I don't know what that was about when Wall was wearing that. It could be that he just had something around. That's what he felt like wearing. But maybe that is some writing on the wall that he wanted to send out. Monique saying CBS Sports giving Scotty praise in the rookies ranking after the Miami game in Miami 3 overtime. Yeah, he should be in the top 3 at least with Mobley and Wagner. I think that those 3 guys are heading above the rest. Cunningham's real close, like after them, but man, Scotty's still got to do some work to really, really separate himself from the pack. And this rising star thing could be a showcase that shows it. Like if he comes in there, he really wants to win it, and he shows that he's the dominant guy and he gets MVP of this rising stars game, that'll go a huge, huge mile for him getting rookie of the year overall. But he still has a lot of work to do, whether it's in regular season games or that rising stars challenge. Like he could do really good stuff in that and get himself some votes for sure to be rookie of the year. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited about this All-Star weekend now because those guys are involved. And I'm pretty sure Fred's going to be going to the big game. And now they were asking Gary if he would shoot in the 3-point shootout last night and afterwards. And he said he would. If they ask him to play in the 3-point shootout, he will do it. But he doesn't think they'll ask him. And he's probably right. They probably won't ask him. Because sometimes they look at it and say, okay, Toronto's already got some pretty good representation at the All-Star weekend because they've got 2 rising stars and they're probably going to have an All-Star. They'll be like, we don't need a representative from their team in 3-point shootout also. That kind of shit. So, but who knows? Maybe they will ask him to come just because he's so phenomenal right now and people's interests are really high in him. So we'll see. But I'm really excited about the rookie challenge, the Rising Stars game. It's going to be really good. Montrezl Harrell had Raptor logo stuff as well. Man, okay, Washington Raptors. Hello, Washington Raptors. I don't know.
Montrez is an interesting guy. He's actually a guy I might actually welcome to the Toronto because he seems like he works really well within his system and he isn't really a major distraction, but he's scary and he's really got an edge and he's the kind of guy like Serge Ibaka that you kind of want on your team. But yeah, I would actually take Harrell on this team, but just because he's such a hard worker and he's got edge and stuff like that. And I don't actually think he's a bad character guy. I think he's actually a really good player, and he'd be good. Let's see. Race Mode Daily. I asked if you were monetized because I was trying to send you coffee money. Have a great day. No, not yet. Listen, I can't do the super tips yet. I've seen other channels and how they do that stuff like that. That's never going to be something that absolutely want to live off of or anything like that. But if it happens at some point and it allows me to get like tips from you guys, if you enjoy my songs or something like that, I'll be like the monkey on the corner with the guy with the accordion. I'll be like, give me a super tip. No, I won't be like that. But yeah, Race Mode, I appreciate that. And hopefully I'll get to that level at some point with YouTube where they'll allow me to do that. But I'm not there yet. But I've seen the parameters for it. And I think I will get there and maybe at some point in the next year or so. So we'll see. Come check back with me and stuff like. But I appreciate that sentiment and everything. But yeah, hopefully, who knows, someday. But once again, it's not necessary. But I do appreciate the thought that you'd like to do that. That's very kind. Click 2 a.m. 50% capacity in 2.5 weeks. Yeah, that'll be really good. Just keep building it up. We'll be half off the DL and then fully off the DL in March, hopefully. 26% from 3. Yay. I'm not sure you're talking about Monique. You're talking about Scotty, maybe the way he's shooting overall for the season at 3-pointer. That's not bad at all. We shot, we beat them at 3-pointers definitely last night, which is saying a lot. When you outshoot the Miami Heat at the 3-point line, that's really, really good. And, they were really outshooting us in the first half. They were like shooting like 58%, and we were shooting like in the 30s. But we evened it up by the end of the game. We got them to 48%, and we were shooting 48% also at the same by the end of the game. So that's really good. That's a big turn of events from halftime, because at halftime it was like 58 to 30 something, and then it became 48 to 48%. So that's really, really good. Monty Python saying that's a telltale sign when players are wearing Raptors gear. It's more revealing how they feel about the organization than they think. Yeah, sometimes some people say don't read into that. I mean, it's really not worth reading into, because who knows? Raymond Jacobs says, if Alex monetizes the videos, doesn't that mean he'll have to start censoring and make his PG rated? I don't know about that. As long as I mark that it's not for kids, it's fine if I just drop F-bombs here and there and stuff like that and say stuff like that. But I have started to possibly think about cleaning up that kind of stuff about this channel, is that maybe people will find it more professional if I get a better quality image, not so staticky, get better internet connection, get maybe a better microphone, get better like camera, do all that kind of stuff as it goes. So there will be upgrades, trust me, to this whole thing as we go. And it may be coinciding with that kind of stuff. But hopefully I won't have to change anything about how I do the content as far as whether I can cuss or not. But if I have to not cuss, I'll make that change, because I can do that. I was on radio for many years, and I was able to not be blue and say naughty words on the radio station. So why not here? I just wanted to be completely unfiltered and absolutely 100% me. And there is cussing in what I say normally. And like, if I'm going to be emotional and angry about Raptors news and things that happen, I want to be able to cuss. So we'll see. I don't know how that'll change things, Raymond, but we'll see. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, because who knows? This may not be even happening at some point. Who knows? But it might. It probably will. We'll see. Click 2 a.m. saying Drake is the reason why the Raptors are well known on the global fan base, from merch to court designs. The Raptors have one of the best apparel in the league. I really agree with this. Like, our apparel was so bad. Like, these purple jerseys that are on my wall over here that I sit in front of when we lose, they're not pretty. Like, that is an ugly color of purple. Like, I love the Raptors purple, and I love that whole era and stuff like that, but it was embarrassing. Like, it was hard to wear Raptor hats in the 90s in Florida. Like, when I lived in Tallahassee and I was going to Florida State, I had Raptors gear, but I really got made fun of. Like, I would be wearing a purple Raptors hat, and they'd be like, what is that crap? Look at that garbage. Like, is that actually an NBA team? The Florida people could be so cruel about the Raptors in the first 5 years when I was living there. And the purple was ugly. And we got called the Barneys and all this kind of stuff. And Drake just erased all that. Drake made us into the Velociraptors on, the Jurassic Park movies from the Barney from the kids show. So it's a big difference. It's a big difference, and I love it. I love it. And like, people don't want to give him that credit, but it really did coincide with him being involved in our style. That our style completely changed and got way better. Let's see. Monty Python say, okay, these are the jerseys you got of Gary Trent. You got the black and gold one and the original. You got the 2 ones I mentioned. That's perfect, man. So you got the City Edition, or the Welcome Toronto black and gold, and then you got the original purple dinosaur jersey. Perfect. Gary Trent Jr. jerseys. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Like his dad's jersey. Except, yeah, you should have got a Gary Trent Sr. old school one and a junior one with the new one, and have both of them. You junior and senior. Oh man, yeah, black and gold City Edition. Yeah, that's a good one. Those are nice. They're beautiful jerseys. Like, I really like the black and gold Raptor stuff. Like, some people are like, oh, this is stupid, we don't want black and gold. But no, I like it. I like the black and gold court, the Welcome Toronto. I like the Drake Knight. I like all that stuff, the OVO stuff. The OVO logo being associated with the Raptors franchise is really good. Like, OVO logo is such a big deal around the world for style and things like that. So it's a really good association. Let's see. Monique's saying, it's funny that Charles Barkley only had Fred VanVleet on his All-Stars reserves. Shaking my head. Well, he had him on there at least. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have to be starting. Charles has him on his All-Star reserve. That means he thinks he's an All-Star. That's really good. And Fred is an All-Star reserve. He hopefully will be for sure. Let's see. Yeah, you wrote it twice. Monique saying, do you think Jody stays with 905 after you watched a few games? Well, I don't know if he has a place on the main roster just because of his age. I think that really his role in 905 is just to be the steadying veteran presence for learning, and just to kind of help them when they may be in trouble in the court off the second unit, as far as steadying, like leadership, veteran kind of mentality out there with these young guys who are trying to figure it out. So I don't think he actually will ever come back up to the main roster. But he's an interesting player. Like, in some ways, he might help us on the main roster just because he's another good 3-point shooter that could be coming in and doing what Svi's supposed to be doing. But there's no guarantee he'd be any better than Svi is right now. He could be just as bad as Svi is right now. So let's see. Monty's saying Gary Trent Sr. looks like he's seen some things. Yeah. Gary Trent Sr. is a cool dude, man. He's a tough dude. And there's some people are making fun of the fact that he named all of his kids like Grayson, Graydon. Like, they're all have like a combination of his name, Gary, in the name. Like, he has 4 sons. And it's a little bit like a George Foreman thing where he named them all George, like George Jr., George the Third, George the Fourth, stuff like that. Georgette for his daughter. But like, seriously, this is just culture. This is a cultural thing. People shouldn't be making fun of this, honestly, because in some ways, this is just how families do things. Like, Precious's family has very interesting sibling names also. But this is just a cultural thing. And we shouldn't make fun of families for deciding that. Gary Trent Sr., yeah, maybe he has a bit of an ego and he wanted to have his name on all of his children. But you know what? That's their life. That's their business. And we should, and listen, this man's doing such an amazing thing for us, Trent Jr., that we shouldn't be making any funny of him or like any kind of like speculation or things like that. This is just their family. And that's his siblings' names. He's Gary Trent Jr. out of the 4 of them. And that's great. That's fantastic. But the other thing is his brothers are younger than him. He's the oldest brother. He's only 23. So I'm wondering about these other Trent kids. Like, there's 3 brothers that are younger than him. And I wonder how good they are at basketball and what levels they are in basketball. So who knows? Maybe one of them could become to the NBA eventually also. So there could be another Trent. So we'll see. Monty said, you got made fun of because their informs in 1996 were ahead of their time. Well, I got made fun of because I lived in Tallahassee. I was going to Florida State. I was a Seminole. I was going to classes, and I was a diehard Raptors fan already just because I was so happy that my home city, Toronto, had an NBA team because my favorite sport was finally married to my favorite city. And that just made it automatically my favorite team for sure that I was going to be rooting for no matter what, even if there was absolute shit right from the start. And in those early years, I would wear like a Raptor shirt or a hat in class, and they would be like, what team is that? Are they in the NBA? They didn't even know the Raptors were in the NBA at that time. Like they had no respect. So I was dealing with a lot of Orlando Magic fans, a lot of Miami Heat fans, and they were assholes. The Miami fans in particular. Orlando fans were never really that big of assholes. They're nice people. They're modest people. But the Miami fans are very arrogant and they're assholes. So it was a lot of those kind of people that were bugging me at Florida State back then. Click 2 a.m. I have a bad feeling that it's going to be Melo and Darius Garland. I really hope one Raptor gets in. We're 3 games above 500, and if the Celtics have an all-star, we should too. Yeah, I agree with that. The Celtics have an all-star, we should have one too. I don't want to speculate negatively about this because I think it's going to work out. We didn't get an all-star last year, and we probably didn't deserve one last year, but maybe we did because Fred was that close. And I think that they'll give the nod to Fred this year, just as a nod to our whole team and the work we're doing recently. I think that he's done enough. I think they've done enough. I don't think he's done enough that both of them will make it, but let's at least get Fred broken into as an all-star now, because Fred can't say he's been an NBA all-star yet, and that should change in the next 2 weeks. I hope he should be an NBA all-star, and they should be able to say that about him. It's a travesty if they don't. Like, they need to correct that basically at this point. All right, guys, it's over 2 hours. Just reacting to the game last night. Great win over the Miami Heat. We're leading the series 2-1 now. We don't see them again until April, again here in Scotiabank Arena. Really had trouble with Bam Adebayo last night, but you know what? If that's the one thing we did wrong last night, that's okay. Jimmy Butler didn't get his triple-double like he had the other 2 games when he played us. Last night, super game from Gary Trent, 11 for 20 from the field with 6 of 10 three-pointers. Fred, 21 points, 2 3-pointers. I don't know how that affects his streak with the whole thing with Steph Curry. He only got 2 3-pointers, so I guess that's over. Pascal, 16 and 14 last night. Just a great game by the Raptors. And the thing about it was, at the end of the game, each one of the Raptors showed up and did a key thing at the end of the game to make something happen. Whether it was Fred hitting a key 3, Gary continuing to hit he had that 8-point run by himself late in the game that really, really helped put us ahead. And then Scotty making an amazing inbounds play to OG to lay it in. Pascal just doing what he does normally at the end of the game also. All 5 of them important at the end of the game, doing different things and helping us make sure we won. All right, guys. Georgette for his daughter. Yeah, dude, that's actually true. I believe that George Foreman's daughter's name is Georgette. Now, I'm not lying. And then, like, all the other kids are all named George. Like, every single one of his children is named George something. So it is what it is. It's all right. Tom Duke, thanks. Have a great day, everyone. Let's go. All right. Thank you, Monique, also. Check out Monique's stuff. Superfan Monique. You may have seen her on Raptors content. She's a community champion. She is a super fan and somebody that you may see more and more of in Raptors content in the future. Yes. All right. Let's go, guys. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great day off. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for the preview for Chicago. Be proud to be in Raptors Nation. We're really coming about it now. We're getting ripening up this team, and it's going to be nasty. We should expect to win every night, night in and night out. We will find a way. We have an amazing assembly of players that are not normal in any kind of aspect, and that's why we are going to kick so much ass. Oh, yeah. Woo! Yeah, Miami's not that much older than us. It's crazy. All right, let's go. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks again, Race Mode Daily. I really appreciate that you wanted to give me some coffee money. That's very kind of you. All right, y'all. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. All the best.